Chapter 590. Both of them were injured in this fight. The yellow-robed cultivator did not continue to attack. They were both recovering from their injuries. Wang Daoyuan took the opportunity to summon the red-feathered crow from the spiritual pearl space. The crow cawed and the half-divine beast's aura spread out. The yellow-robed cultivator was in the late-stage golden core stage. He was stunned. The red-feathered crow looked very similar to the golden crow. In addition, it was covered in red and gold flames. Some differences were not easy to see. However, the yellow-robed cultivator was an old fox. He quickly noticed the abnormality. The red-feathered crow was only in the lower fourth stage. No matter how strong it was, it could not defeat him. At most, it could defeat most mid-stage golden core cultivators. Wang Daoyuan smiled. With my strength, how long would it take for Daoyu to defeat me? I wonder how long fellow Taoist Gu Changqing can last against the golden crow. Then he took out a jar of 100-year-old and 1,000-year-old spirit peach dew and drank a few mouthfuls. The yellow-robed cultivator's expression changed. Normally, even if he could not defeat the golden crow, he could escape unscathed. However, he had used up all his spirit chi and divine sense. Even with elixirs, he could not recover much of his strength in a short time. At this time, any early-stage golden core cultivator could easily kill him, let alone a half-divine beast that was stronger than most mid-stage golden core cultivators. Wang Daoyuan did not give him a chance to think. Both of their natal Dharma artifacts were damaged. All that was left was to compete with Dharma spells and resources. He put the 5 elements demon suppression seal back into his dantian and split it into 5 Dharma artifacts. He activated the Azure Dragon Pearl to heal his internal injuries. The yellow-robed cultivator's natal Dharma artifact was also damaged. He could not use much power. It was unlikely that a body-tempering cultivator would have powerful Dharma spells. Wang Daoyuan ate an Essence Soul Awakening pill to recover his divine sense. This pill was given to him by his master when he was in the mid-stage of the Purple Palace realm. The Essence Soul Awakening pill was an upper-grade third-stage elixir. It was not very effective for golden core cultivators, but it was still useful. Phase that could replenish divine sense were already rare, and Tier 4 phase were even rarer. It was already considered good to have a Tier 3 high-grade elixir. Since the yellow-robed cultivator was injured, he was in no hurry to attack, and consumed a few elixirs. Even if he didn't have time to refine it, he could still absorb it slowly. It was better than nothing. Wang Daoyuan commanded the red-winged crow to fly towards Gu Changqing. The yellow-robed cultivator wanted to help, but Wang Daoyuan immediately used Black Tortoise Purgatory to trap him. However, the yellow-robed cultivator was not easy to deal with. A burst of yellow sand appeared, and he actually dodged the Black Tortoise Purgatory. Wang Daoyuan did not give him a chance to breathe, dispersing the Black Tortoise Purgatory. Then, Huang Xiaolong chased after Huang Xiaolong with the Misty Cloud Escape and the Black Tortoise Purgatory. No matter how brilliant the yellow-robed cultivator's escape technique was, using it consecutively for a short period of time would consume a lot of his spiritual energy and put a lot of pressure on his body. After dodging 3 times, he was trapped by the 4th Black Tortoise Purgatory. On the other side, the red-winged crow turned into a red and gold sun and charged towards Gu Changqing at an extremely fast speed. Gu Changqing had taken some elixirs to recover his spiritual energy and divine consciousness, but it was too short, and he did not recover much. Even if he was in his best condition, he might not be a match for the red-winged crow. Moreover, he could not use much power now. He did not dare to fight the red-winged crow head-on. Instead, he used his escape technique and turned into a flood dragon, escaping into the clear glass river. The clear glass river was endless. It was a wise choice to use it to resist the red-winged crow. However, the red-winged crow's natal spiritual fire was not to be trifled with. It chased after Gu Changqing, spitting out flames continuously. Clouds of mist rose from the river surface. Gu Changqing was almost engulfed by the flames several times. The golden crow was a divine bird known for its speed. Gu Changqing could not shake it off. The yellow-robed cultivator was trapped by the Black Tortoise Purgatory and could not help at the moment. Wang Daoyuan controlled the Black Tortoise Purgatory to shrink. The smaller the Black Tortoise Purgatory, the thicker the water wall, and the harder it was to break through. As long as it was small enough, it could squeeze the yellow-robed cultivator to death. The yellow-robed cultivator did not wait for death. Instead, he formed the yellow-maned Kirin's shadow to resist the black tortoise purgatory. The yellow-maned Kirin was much weaker than before. It could barely stop the black tortoise purgatory from shrinking. The yellow light on his body flashed and merged with the yellow-maned Kirin's body. Kirin's aura grew stronger. Then he merged with the Kirin's shadow. Purple light flashed between his eyebrows. He clenched his fists and punched the black tortoise purgatory's water wall. The Kirin's shadow also lifted its front hooves and stomped on the water wall. Wang Daoyuan continued to inject spiritual energy into the black tortoise purgatory and used his purple mansion resonance. The black tortoise purgatory shook, but it was not broken. Wang Daoyuan suddenly felt that when his purple mansion resonance, the black tortoise avatar's aura had changed significantly. He felt that the black tortoise's aura's power was about to increase tremendously, but something was stopping it. The avatar's soul-devouring divine power had a minor divine power. Wang Daoyuan had sensed the avatar's soul-devouring divine power many times and controlled it personally. He was familiar with this feeling. If the black tortoise's aura changed qualitatively, it might be a minor divine power. However, the human race and the demon race could not be lumped together. Whether it was true or not, he had to go back and ask Zhou Wan. The yellow-robed cultivator attacked with all his might again. The black tortoise purgatory collapsed and turned into mist. His enlightenment was interrupted. Wang Daoyuan looked regretful. If he had held on a little longer, he might have comprehended a minor divine power. Meanwhile, Gu Chongqing had brushed past the red-winged crow's attacks many times. He was in danger. Just as he was about to use the black tortoise purgatory again, the yellow-robed cultivator took out a palm-sized jade pendant and said, "Wang Daoyu, the Gu family admits defeat. We'll never invade Yunnan County again. How about we call it quits? This is a beast soul talisman. It's made from the 4th level upper-grade yellow-maned Kirin's soul. Once activated, you can summon yellow-maned Kirin's soul to help you in battle. Daoyu might not be able to defeat yellow-maned Kirin in your current state." Wang Daoyuan shook his head. "You think I've done my best? If I really took out all my trump cards, I wouldn't care about a mere beast soul talisman. You invaded Yunnan County for no reason and forced me to expose the existence of the Golden Crow. You think I'll let this go with just one sentence?" The yellow-robed cultivator was prepared to be ripped off. He said, "Daoyu, what do you want? Just say it." Wang Daoyuan smiled. "I think your beast soul talisman looks good." The yellow-robed cultivator quickly refused. "I've lived for almost 900 years. Do you think I'll be fooled by you? If I hand over the beast soul talisman, I'm afraid we'll both die here. If that's the case, I can only detonate my golden core and send Daoyu away." This bastard's escape technique was faster than the cloud escape. If he was determined to detonate his golden core, Wang Daoyuan might not be able to survive. Then you should have the supplementary herbs for refining the golden core pill, and the purple gold chalcedony fruit, right? The yellow-robed cultivator smiled. "The family has it. I don't have it with me. How about I order someone to send it over another day? Who owes money to buy one's life?" Wang Daoyuan's face darkened. "Then you should detonate your golden core. I'd like to see if I can withstand it." The yellow-robed cultivator quickly said, "Daoyu, don't worry. I have the method to refine the beast soul talisman. Do you think I can compensate you for your loss?" Wang Daoyuan replied, "The 4th level beast soul talisman requires the soul of a 4th level demon beast. In order to ensure its power, it can't be an ordinary 4th level demon beast. The price is too high. I can't afford it. Your family's flood dragon sea overturning technique is quite interesting. Why don't you use it to buy your life?" The yellow-robed cultivator rejected him sternly. "How can I show my family's inheritance to others so easily?" Wang Daoyuan smiled. "The flood dragon sea overturning technique is more advanced than your Gu family's. I only want your family's inheritance as a reference. I don't need much. Just give me the part below the golden core. Also, I can't give you any less. If you don't give it to me, then you can just wait to collect Gu Chongqing's corpse." This item wasn't of much use to Wang Daoyuan, but it was of great significance to perfecting his family's inheritance. This was especially true for his 12th uncle. If he wanted to improve his cultivation technique in the future, this flood dragon sea overturning technique would be an excellent reference. The yellow-robed cultivator pondered for a moment before nodding. I'll give it to you. Hurry up and tell the golden crow to stop. Chapter 591. By now, the golden crow was hundreds of miles away from Gu Changqing. However, Wang Daoyuan had the golden crow as his master. At this distance, he could communicate with it without using his divine consciousness. He ordered the red-feathered crow to stop attacking. Of course, he couldn't let Gu Changqing escape. The red-feathered crow was still flying above him. Gu Changqing was a hostage now. If he let the yellow-robed cultivator escape, Wang Daoyuan wasn't confident that he could stop him. The yellow-robed cultivator also sent a message to Gu Changqing, asking him to come over. After a few breaths, Gu Changqing arrived at the place where Wang Daoyuan and the yellow-robed cultivator were fighting. The red-feathered crow followed him. The yellow-robed cultivator said, Changqing, record the previous parts of the flood dragon sea filling technique golden core. Don't leave out the accompanying dharma spells. Gu Changqing was stunned, but he didn't refuse. Wang Daoyuan took out more than 10 blank jade slips from his storage bag and handed them to Gu Changqing. He smiled. I've seen the flood dragon sea filling technique. I can tell if it's real or fake. Don't try to fool me with a fake one. Gu Changqing felt humiliated. He came here in high spirits, wanting to defeat Wang Daoyuan and make a name for himself. He didn't expect to be tricked. He used up 2 life-saving items and had to rely on his family's elders to save his life. Now even his family's elders were involved. He had to give up his family's inheritance in exchange for his life. However, he was being chased by the golden crow and was panicking like a stray dog. He didn't have the guts to refuse. He could only record the jade slips obediently. After a few breaths, the jade slips were completed. Wang Daoyuan took the jade slips and checked them with his divine consciousness. There was nothing wrong with the content. It was obviously from the same source as the flood dragon sea filling technique. However, there were obvious signs of repair. The Gu family's ancestor probably got the incomplete version and repaired it himself. His ancestor's flood dragon sea filling technique was the complete inheritance. It was improved with the help of the dragonfish. The accompanying dharma spell was interesting. It was the 5 flood dragon shadows that Gu Changqing used before. It was called flood dragon sea filling technique. It was similar to the Wang family's water dragon sea filling technique. It must have been repaired by the incomplete thousand dragons sea filling technique. There was also the escape technique that Gu Changqing used to avoid the golden crow. It was called the flood dragon escape. It should have been created with the 10,000 dragons sea turner as the foundation. The level of this escape technique was not low, although using it outside the water consumed a lot of spiritual power and slowed down the speed of the escape technique. It was still very fast. However, in the water, his speed was much faster than the cloud mist escape. This was very suitable for the environment of Linhai Prefecture. There was the mouth of the 10,000 rivers, and to the east was the sea. It was very important to have a fast escape technique in the water. Moreover, when the flood dragon escape art was used to escape, it also had a certain degree of offensive and defensive capabilities. This was the same as the Scarlet Luan escape art. Although it consumed a lot of spiritual energy, it could still be used as a reference. After a round of confirmation, Wang Daoyuan said coldly, "There are no problems with the cultivation method and the spell. This matter is considered over. Go back and tell your group that if they dare to step into Yan'an County's territory again, they will be killed without mercy." The yellow-robed cultivator smiled and said, "Daoyu, don't worry. I will definitely pass on the message." With that, the yellow-robed cultivator left with Gu Changqing. Wang Daoyuan also took the red-feathered crow and headed north. The red-feathered crow's body was burning with red and gold flames. It really looked like a divine bird. Wherever it passed, the cultivators and mortals on the ground looked at it in awe. Since the red-feathered crow had been exposed, he might as well use it to intimidate the weak. A level 4 half-divine beast could live for more than 5,000 years without a problem. With the red-feathered crow in charge, Yan'an County would have a golden core battle power for thousands of years. After more than 4 hours, Wang Daoyuan returned to Yuchuan Peak. Under the curious gazes of his clansmen, he brought the red-feathered crow to the bottom of the earth fire chamber. Since the red-feathered crow had shown up, he had to let it show up more often. It was better to set up a nest for it at Yuchuan Peak, so that no one would suspect anything. Wang Daoyuan cut a blood-fire hibiscus branch from the spiritual pearl and planted it at the bottom of the earth fire chamber by the lava lake. He had already thought of an excuse. He would say that he brought it back from the treasure cauldron mountain. It was not strange that a branch of a level 4 spiritual tree could live for dozens of years. Then, he put the red-feathered crow into the spiritual pearl and entered the cave. Zhou Wan was waiting for him beside the earth fire chamber. When she saw him return, she asked, "How's your injury?" Wang Daoyuan smiled. "It's a small injury caused by the damage to my natal Dharma artifact. I used the Tsang Dragon Pearl to heal it. It's no longer a big problem." Zhou Wan sighed in relief. "It's good that you're fine. The yellow-robed cultivator you fought with is called Gu Qingfeng. He's the Grand Elder of Linhai Prefecture's Gu clan. His strength is above average among the golden core cultivators under the long-legged prince. However, he's proficient in escape techniques. He's not easy to deal with. This Gu Daoyu is really powerful. If I didn't threaten him with Gu Changqing's life, I would have to expose the 5 elements spiritual fire. However, he also helped me a lot. When I fought with him, I felt that the black tortoise's charm was about to have a great breakthrough. But I also felt that there were some obstacles. This should be about to comprehend a lesser abhijna. Did you have this feeling before you comprehended a lesser abhijna?" Zhou Wan nodded. "After condensing the embryonic form of the golden core, before going through the tribulation, I did feel that the red phoenix's charm was about to have a breakthrough. But there were some obstacles. When the lesser abhijna tribulation arrived, the obstacle disappeared automatically. Logically speaking, with this feeling, you should be able to comprehend a lesser abhijna." Wang Daoyuan thought to himself. Zhou Wan relied on the lesser abhijna tribulation to break through the obstacle. However, he didn't have a battle constitution. He relied entirely on his own comprehension to reach this step. There was no lesser abhijna tribulation at all. His master from another lifetime, the 5 elements spiritual master, didn't comprehend a lesser abhijna. There were no records of this in his experience. Wang Daoyuan really didn't know how to break through this obstacle and comprehend a lesser abhijna. Zhou Wan looked at his dejected face and comforted him. In Blood Shadow's intelligence, there were records of lesser abhijnas of a few cultivators with 5 spiritual roots. Without exception, their lesser abhijnas were all complete of the 5 elements. Right now, only the black tortoise's charm is about to break through. The other 4 divine beasts' charms haven't shown any signs yet. If the 5 divine beasts' charms all reach this level, you'll naturally comprehend a lesser abhijna. Zhou Wan's words enlightened him. Every aspect of a cultivator with 5 spiritual roots cultivation was to achieve the balance of the 5 elements as much as possible. Right now, only the black tortoise's charm showed signs of breaking through. It didn't conform to the balance of the 5 elements. It was easier said than done to comprehend the charms of the other divine beasts, to the point where they were about to break through. However, Wang Daoyuan wasn't discouraged. At least this was a clear goal. As long as he achieved this goal, he would be able to comprehend a lesser abhijna. For ordinary people to comprehend lesser abhijnas, it was like looking for a needle in a haystack. With the guidance of a cultivator who had comprehended lesser abhijnas, it was like looking for a needle in a lake. Even with the secret method in the essence of abhijnas, it was like looking for a needle in a pond. Although the probability had increased by a lot, it still depended on luck. If one was unlucky, they wouldn't be able to comprehend it in their lifetime. Hardships and sacrifices weren't scary. What was scary was that after giving everything, there was still nothing to be gained. Now that he had a clear goal, the experience of comprehending the black tortoise's charm had given him a reliable path. As long as he followed this path, he would be able to comprehend lesser abhijnas. No matter how difficult it was, he would be able to grit his teeth and persevere. Wang Daoyuan spent a month's time to completely repair his natal magic weapon. Then, he began to deepen his comprehension of the 5 divine beast charms. Simply using the secret method in the essence of abhijnas to cultivate was not very useful. Wang Daoyuan had already cultivated the secret method for many years. The divine beast charms had strengthened, but he didn't feel like they were about to break through. This time, the black tortoise's charm was about to break through. It should be due to improving the spell. In this improvement process, the spell must be compatible with the corresponding divine beast charms. This process couldn't be avoided without studying the divine beast charms. The focus in the future would naturally be on improving the spell. The 5 natal magic weapons all had spells attached to them. It just so happened that these spells were the foundation. He had modified it to be able to cast spells without the use of his natal Dharma artifact. Chapter 592. The Azure Dragon Pearl's life force extraction and healing spells were not bad on their own, so he did not need to modify them much. In the future, whether it was healing or extracting the enemy's life force, he could save the time of summoning a Dharma artifact. The Kirin Seal also had an accompanying spell called Kirin Demon Suppression, which was a spell that used the power of suppression. The Kirin Seal's suppressive power mainly came from the material. The Kirin Divine Beast's suppressive power was not outstanding. If he did not use the Kirin Seal and directly used Kirin Demon Suppression, the power would not be much. As an auspicious divine beast, Kirin's main ability was to resolve disasters. This ability had some restraining effect on all evil. For example, dirty tricks like curses were greatly reduced in power in front of Kirin's charm. However, he could modify the Kirin Demon Suppression so that it could restrain all kinds of dirty tricks. The Vermilion Bird Fan had the Vermilion Bird Fire Control technique, which was similar to the Heaven Burning Divine Fire technique. He did not spend time comprehending the charm of the Baifeng Divine Bird. After reaching the Golden Core stage, the power of the Heaven Burning Divine Fire technique was not enough. However, it could still be used as a reference. The White Tiger Blade was more special. It had to be directly used with the Sword Shadow Divine Light technique, which also involved man and sword becoming one. Although Wang Daoyuan often used sword cultivation spells, he did not take the Tao of sword cultivation too seriously. He only used it as one of his many methods, and did not put in the effort to comprehend man and sword becoming one. If he were to comprehend man and sword becoming one now, who knew how much time it would take? Therefore, it was better to condense the White Tiger Phantom and use spells that had nothing to do with sword cultivation. As for the spell related to the White Tiger, Wang Daoyuan also had a target. Yin Yi's roar was not bad. Even opponents with higher cultivation levels than her would be frightened by a tiger's roar. Raising a tiger for 1,000 days, using it for a moment. This guy ate roasted meat all day. It was time for it to contribute. The Azure Dragon and Vermilion Bird spells did not need to be modified. They could be used after being condensed. It was the simplest. Wang Daoyuan still decided to go easy first. He would first settle the Azure Dragon and Vermilion Bird's charm. With the experience of tormenting the Black Tortoise's silhouette, it wasn't difficult for him to condense a divine beast silhouette. He would be able to succeed in 3 to 5 days. It only took him a little more than half a month to successfully condense all the divine beast phantoms. Then, he improved the healing and life force extraction spells that came with the Azure Dragon Pearl. It took him 2 months to complete the improvement of the 2 spells, and he could use them without the help of the Azure Dragon Pearl. Wang Daoyuan gave these 2 spells names: Azure Dragon Life Snatching Technique and Azure Dragon Reversal Technique. He spent another month or so to cultivate the 2 spells to the point where he could cast them without the shadow of the Azure Dragon. After that, he used 2 months to cultivate the Vermilion Bird Fire Control Technique, to the point where he could control it flexibly without using the Vermilion Bird shadow. After dealing with the 2 easiest ones, the next step was to improve Kirin's Demon Suppression. Wang Daoyuan wanted to improve Kirin's Demon Suppression into a spell that could restrain all evil, but he didn't have such a spell as a reference. He could only add more things to this spell that matched the charm. After casting, the Kirin's shadow flickered with an earthy yellow light. Wang Daoyuan used some evil cultivation methods, and under this earthy yellow light, their power was indeed weakened by 10 to 20%. This spell was renamed Kiran's Demon Suppression. To be able to improve it to this point, he had achieved his goal. It wouldn't be too late to improve it when he encountered a more advanced spell in the future. It took him half a year to cultivate Kiran's Demon Suppression to the point where he could cast it without the shadow of the Kiran. Then, he left Jade Spring Peak and came to the easternmost part of Fallen Dragon Ridge. A large number of monsters from the north of the mountain fled to the south, fighting for territory with the monsters from the south of the mountain. The losers could only escape. Fallen Dragon Ridge often had rank 3 monsters wandering around without a territory. Once a monster approached, the Thunder Ape and Yunyi would attack. Wang Daoyuan hid his whereabouts and arrived at the easternmost part of Fallen Dragon Ridge. He just happened to see 2 middle-grade rank 3 monsters invading Fallen Dragon Ridge. These 2 demonic beasts were of the wolf species. They had silver fur, and other than that, there was nothing special about them. He didn't need to personally deal with these 2 silver wolves. As soon as the silver wolves entered within 50 miles of Fallen Dragon Ridge, the Thunder Ape ran out with a stick. This stick was more than 10 feet long, and was a middle-grade rank 3 magic weapon forged from star steel. Other than being sturdy and durable, it didn't have any other advantages. However, it was very suitable for the Thunder Ape who liked to fight hand-to-hand. The Thunder Ape held the stick and fought with the 2 silver wolves. These 2 silver wolves were not weak, and the Thunder Ape couldn't win for the time being. Yunyi also flew out of Fallen Dragon Ridge and used her roar to intimidate the 2 silver wolves. With a tiger's roar, the 2 silver wolves trembled subconsciously and were stunned for half a breath's time. The Thunder Ape seized the opportunity and smashed the head of one of the silver wolves. There was only 1 silver wolf left, and it was no match for the Thunder Ape. In less than half a cup of tea's time, it died tragically under the stick. The 2 guys returned to Fallen Dragon Ridge with the corpse, and Wang Daoyuan also landed on the mountain. He came to Yunyi with a smile and tried to persuade it. This guy was lazy and gluttonous. It was harder to make it obediently let out a tiger's roar than to reach the sky. After discussing with it for a long time, it finally agreed to give him 20 kilograms of roasted meat and let out a roar. After half a year, he was finally able to simulate Yunyi's roar with the white tiger phantom. In this half a year, no monster dared to approach Fallen Dragon Ridge. The tiger's roar he imitated had the effect of intimidating the soul, but the power was not ideal. Yunyi's rank 3 cultivation base could temporarily stun a rank 3 upper-grade monster with the tiger's roar. Wang Daoyuan's cultivation was at the mid-Aurus core stage. The spells he cast could only stun early Aurus core stage cultivators. It was useless against experts, but it had a miraculous effect against a large group of low-level cultivators. After a month, he was able to let out a tiger's roar without the help of the white tiger phantom. He named this tiger's roar soul-subduing technique. When the black tortoise's charm felt like it was about to break through, he used the black tortoise purgatory to trap Gu Qingfeng. When the 2 of them fought, Wang Daoyuan used purple mansion resonance, and the black tortoise's charm felt like it was about to break through. There was no such good sparring partner now, but he still had a secret technique to use. In order to comprehend the divine beast's charm, he obtained the secret technique from Zhou Wan. It allowed him to use a small amount of spiritual sense to perform purple mansion resonance. Wang Daoyuan returned to the underground cave of the Jade Spring Peak and used the secret technique and spiritual sense to cultivate to improve the 5 elements divine beast's charm. When the spiritual sense was consumed too much, he used the secret technique to strengthen his purple mansion spirit. After a year and a half, the 5 elements divine beast's charm was on the verge of a breakthrough. Now he felt that the barrier had become very weak. As long as he blew lightly, he would be able to break through the barrier. He used the corresponding spiritual sense to the 5 elements divine beast spiritual sense at the same time, and activated the 5 purple mansion spirit phenomena. Suddenly, he felt that layer of obstruction had already vanished, and he stopped executing his technique and Violet Palace resonance secret technique. The Jade Spring Peak was calm and peaceful, without the slightest change. The spiritual fishes in the underground cave swam happily and contentedly, and the spiritual plants grew quietly as if nothing had happened. However, Beiyuan, who was meditating, suddenly woke up and asked, "What minor divine ability did you comprehend? Why do I feel that the surrounding spiritual energy is not right, as if it's being controlled by someone?" Wang Daoyuan carefully sensed his body and the surroundings, then answered, "It should be a minor domain divine ability. Now the area within 100 miles of me is covered by this minor divine ability. Within this range, I can control all the spiritual energy in this area. I can make them change their attributes and move around." After saying that, he moved his spiritual sense, and all the spiritual energy in the cave gathered in his hand. After 10 breaths, a fist-sized ball of fiery red spiritual energy was formed. The ball of spiritual energy turned into 5 different colors, and its attributes were divided into the 5 elements. Soon after, the ball of spiritual energy ignited and turned into a 5-colored flame. With such a method, he could change the attribute of the spiritual energy in the area covered by the domain, making it counter the attribute of the opponent's spiritual energy. Wherever he went, it would be his home field. Chapter 593. Seeing his control over spiritual energy, Beiyuan nodded. It's indeed a minor domain-type magical power. Such minor magical powers aren't simple. Bloodshadow's files recorded several ancient cultivators who had minor domain-type magical powers, and all of them were experts. There was a cultivator who comprehended a minor water-type magical power, and he was invincible in water. He once fought with people on the myriad rivers, and with the help of the river's power, he fought against 5 cultivators of the same level and killed them all. Upon hearing this, Wang Daoyuan felt a little strange. Although my minor magical power can control spiritual energy, it doesn't have any particularly powerful methods. Beiyuan chuckled. "You're ignorant, aren't you? Minor magical powers can continue to grow. After breaking through Yuanying, they'll become magical powers. Magical powers will also continue to strengthen as the cultivator's realm increases. For example, my minor flame magical power will only increase in power if it continues to strengthen. At most, I'll comprehend some matching spells. Minor domain-type magical powers can be all-encompassing and can be combined with all kinds of spells. As my comprehension of minor magical powers deepens, I may have new abilities in the future. In particular, your minor magical power domain contains the 5 elements, so there will be more tricks. It's hard to say how much it can grow in the future. Hurry up and try it. See what effect this minor magical power can have when combined with spells." Wang Daoyuan casually cast the rank 1 spell, Golden Sword Technique. A small golden sword flew out and hit the rock wall. The small golden sword directly penetrated half a foot deep into the rock wall. The power is 20% stronger than before. Beiyuan shook her head and said, "This isn't the power of the domain. All cultivators who comprehend minor magical powers will have their strength increased. When I was transcending the minor magical power tribulation, the power of any spell I cast before or after the tribulation increased by nearly 20%. I'll try attacking you and see if you can affect the opponent's spell." He nodded and cast the black tortoise bright light armor to protect himself. The power of this defensive spell also increased by about 20%. Beiyuan condensed a fireball. He controlled the spiritual energy around him and converted it all into water type, constantly weakening the fireball's power. When the fireball hit him, its power was reduced by about 10%. Wang Daoyuan was somewhat disappointed. It can only weaken the power of the opponent's spell by 10%. Beiyuan smiled and said, "For a golden core cultivator, even 10% of the power can't be underestimated. As your comprehension of the laws deepens, the bonus will also increase. Try to see if there are any other effects." Then, he cast Golden Rock Wrestling Dragon and other time-consuming spells. In the end, he discovered that the time required to condense the Golden Rock's image had decreased. In the past, it would have taken him a little more than 5 breaths of time. Moreover, this was already close to the limit. From the foundation establishment stage to the Golden Core stage, there was no obvious reduction. It only took him 4 breaths of time to cast it in his minor god art domain. Then he tried to cast multiple spells at the same time. This made him overjoyed. In the past, when he cast multiple spells, each additional spell would increase the consumption of his divine sense by several times. Therefore, even if a cultivator's divine sense was powerful, they would not be willing to cast multiple spells at the same time. Generally, controlling 3 spells at the same time was the limit. Casting multiple spells in the lesser god ability domain didn't give off the feeling of multitasking. It was just like casting a single spell. The consumption of divine sense by casting multiple spells was simply superimposed. There was no situation where the consumption of divine sense multiplied by several times. In the future, he could cast multiple spells at the same time to suppress the enemy in his minor god art domain. Wang Daoyuan was very satisfied. The minor god art domain can increase the speed of casting spells and reduce the consumption of divine sense. It's really not bad. By the way, Hall Master, will this minor god art domain be broken? Zhou Wan shook her head and said, some minor god arts domain have their own offensive and defensive functions. Just like your black tortoise purgatory, there are obvious boundaries. Such minor god arts domain can be easily broken as long as one is strong enough. Some minor god arts do not have direct offensive and defensive functions, nor do they have obvious boundaries. They only use the laws one has comprehended to affect an area. Without any physical existence, there is no way to break it. Unless the opponent's comprehension of laws surpasses yours, and uses their laws to suppress your laws. In this way, your domain will be weakened or even self-destructed. Your minor god art does not have obvious boundaries. It should belong to the latter. This time, Wang Daoyuan was even more satisfied. The minor god art domain could only be suppressed by laws. It could not be broken through by ordinary means. It could only be suppressed by laws. In other words, cultivators without minor god arts could not break his domain. The minor god art domain was his territory. Wang Daoyuan named the minor god art 5 elements purgatory. The only shortcoming of 5 elements purgatory was that maintaining minor god arts consumed a lot of divine sense. Even if he did not cast spells, his divine sense could only maintain minor god arts for about an hour. However, this was not a big deal. As his comprehension of laws deepened, the consumption of divine sense to maintain minor god arts would decrease. When one comprehended a god art to an extremely profound level, one could even not consume divine sense at all. With just a thought, the god art would be formed. He put away the minor god art domain and used the golden sword technique again. The power increased by 20% compared to before he comprehended the minor god art. This should be the ability of all cultivators who comprehended minor god arts. Because before, he was imitating laws. Now he was holding the laws in his hand and throwing them out. The power itself had increased. It was like the difference between holding a saber and empty-handed. Even if one did not understand sabers, the power of using sabers was stronger than empty-handed. As one's comprehension of laws deepened, this power increase would become stronger and stronger. After comprehending minor god arts, Wang Daoyuan's strength could be ranked among the top among golden core cultivators. If he encountered an opponent like Gu Qingfeng again, he could easily defeat him. There was no need to use other people's juniors as hostages. These years comprehending minor god arts had consumed a lot of his time. Now he could finally spend all his time on improving his cultivation. Wang Daoyuan asked with a serious face, Lord Hallmaster, after comprehending minor god arts, can the descendants have a battle constitution? Zhou Wan did not think much and replied, according to the records in the ancient books, at least until the Yuanying period, when one comprehended a god art, there is a very small chance that the descendants will have a battle constitution. You are now a golden core cultivator, so it shouldn't be possible. What you learn on paper is shallow. You have to do it yourself. Whether it works or not, we can't just look at the records of our predecessors. We have to try it ourselves. Then, the two of them entered the boudoir. In the years that Wang Daoyuan comprehended minor god arts, the situation in the Zhao state had changed a lot. The Zhao family sent cultivators to wipe out the other families. 70 to 80% of the families were beaten by the Zhao family. Most of them surrendered, and a small number were exterminated. With the resources and cannon fodder provided by these families, the long-legged prince became much bolder and sent cultivators to attack the major markets. The golden core cultivators of the three sects were still hiding in their shells and did not show their faces. Currently, among the large markets controlled by the three major sects, only the Three River Market had not fallen. This was the intersection of the three major sects, and also the gathering place of the logistics of the Wuqing Pass. If this place fell, the cultivators at the front line of the Wuqing Pass would immediately collapse. The long-legged prince seemed to have the intention of letting the three major sects and the Song state wear each other out. He did not touch the Three River Market at all. Now, his forces were attacking the important industries of the three major sections. Ever since the red-feathered crow was exposed and the father and son surnamed Gu was dealt with, no one dared to come to Yunnan County to cause trouble. This was a world where strength mattered. No matter how strong one's backer was, it could only make the opponent hesitate. Moreover, he was not the only one with a backer. The Zhao family also had disciples who joined the four major sections. If he wanted his opponents to not have any ideas about him, he had to rely on his own strength. More than a month later, Yan Hui of the Black Flame Tiger clan sent news that the refined corpses in the ghost cave were acting strangely and asked for his help. Wang Daoyuan naturally did not refuse. These refined corpses were a sword hanging over Yunnan County's head. If he did not kill them, he would not be able to sleep well. Just like now, he felt his waist ache even before he got out of bed. Chapter 594. Devouring Spirit also reported that after Yan Hui recovered from his injuries, he gathered more than 10 middle and low-grade rank 4 demonic beasts to continue guarding the entrance of the ghost cave. In the past few years, the refined corpses only dared to probe and did not leave the ghost cave to fight against the demonic beasts. Soon, Zhouwan also received news from her Hall Master token. This time, the Yellow Spring Secret Realm sent another high-grade rank 4 refined corpse and 3 middle-grade rank 4 refined corpses to help. From beginning to end, 18 refined corpses had already walked out of the secret realm. There were definitely more refined corpses hidden in the Yellow Spring Secret Realm. After all, only 2 of the 3 high-grade rank 4 refined corpses had appeared. In other words, the Yellow Spring Secret Realm might have more than 24th grade refined corpses. The title of 10,000 Corpse Spiritual Master was not given for nothing. With more than 24th grade refined corpses, which cultivator of the same level would dare to fight him alone? Even Master Lei Yen, who was a lightning attribute cultivator, could not do anything when faced with more than 20 refined corpses that could set up formations. With this strength, he could easily kill all the higher-ups of a large sect. However, the 10,000 Corpse Spiritual Master was alone and had no attachments. This kind of person was too dangerous. No wonder he was beaten to death. If he was still alive, he would be killed as long as he dared to show his face. Zhou Wan put away the token and asked, "Do you need my help?" Wang Daoyuan put on his clothes and replied, "No need. I'll bring the Scarlet Feather Crow. The Scarlet Feather Crow's life spiritual fire is much stronger than my Scarlet Yang True Fire. With it and more than 10 4th-grade demonic beasts, killing the refined corpses won't be difficult." Zhou Wan nodded and said, "You have to be careful of those demonic beasts. You raised a Scarlet Feather Crow, so they might not like you." Wang Daoyuan smiled and said, "Don't worry, they won't dare to cause trouble before we kill the refined corpses. After that, they won't have the ability to cause trouble. I'm going to help the demonic beasts deal with the refined corpses, not to be the main force. If the demonic beasts don't die, don't expect me to go all out." Soon after, Wang Daoyuan put on the black magic robe and left Jade Spring Peak, heading towards the ghost cave in the northwest direction. The Netherworld Cave was located over 10,000 miles east of the Mirror Gem Oasis, and it was less than 1,000 miles away from the Heaven/Mountain Range's main mountain range. The straight-line distance from the Jade Spring Peak was more than 20,000 li. Wang Daoyuan concealed himself and flew toward the ghost cave. Near the entrance of the ghost cave was a small valley that ran from east to west. It was more than 10 miles long and 2 to 3 miles wide. The entrance of the cave was in the middle of the valley. More than a dozen rank 4 demon clans south were guarding this place. Yan Hui was currently meditating on a small hill south of the valley. The other demons revealed their true forms. Some stared at the entrance of the cave, while others closed their eyes to rest. Among them, there were 3 fire-attributed demonic birds, and one of them was a fiery red sparrow with a long tail. It was at the middle of the 4th rank, and it seemed to have a bit of the Phoenix clan's bloodline. When Wang Daoyuan showed himself, the demons were shocked and were about to attack. Yan Hui spoke out. "Wait a moment, this is Brother Wang. I specially invited him to deal with the refined corpse. Brother Wang, you're really capable. If you didn't take the initiative to reveal yourself, I wouldn't have been able to discover you." Wang Daoyuan cupped his hands and said, "Big brother Yan Hui is too kind. It's been a few years since we last met. How are your injuries?" "I still have to thank Brother Wang. I've already recovered. This time, the refined corpses are on the move again. We don't have the confidence to resist them, so we can only ask Brother Wang for help again." Wang Daoyuan waved his hand. "Big brother Yan Hui, there's no need for this. The refined corpses are the common enemy of both the human and demon clans. It's only right for me to help." Before he finished speaking, a hoarse roar came from the west. Soon after, 4 refined corpses appeared in the sky 100 miles west of the ghost cave and swooped down toward the ghost cave. Hearing the roar, the demons immediately perked up. Yan Hui took the lead and faced the rank 4 high-rank black tiger refined corpse. Another 3 rank 4 middle-rank demonic beasts flew into the sky and fought with the 3 rank 4 middle-rank refined corpses. The remaining 9 demonic beasts stayed in place and stared at the ghost cave, ready to attack at any time. There were still 7 refined corpses in the cave. Among them, there was 1 rank 4 high-rank refined corpse, 3 rank 4 middle-rank refined corpses, and 3 rank 4 low-rank refined corpses. The newly arrived refined corpse fought with Yan Hui and the others for less than 100 breaths of time, and a low-grade tier 4 refined corpse leaped out from the cave. The fire sparrow with the phoenix bloodline spat out a mouthful of blood-red flames. The refined corpse that had just leaped out was instantly surrounded by flames. It wanted to escape back into the ghost cave, but a black bear beside it waved its front paw, and a 300-meter-long yellow bear paw shadow appeared and slapped the refined corpse away. A black mist appeared on the refined corpse's body and quickly consumed the flames. Wang Daoyuan used the vermilion bird fire control technique and waved his hand lightly, sending a pure gold spirit energy toward the refined corpse. The flames instantly became 5 to 6 times stronger, and the originally blood-red flames were tinged with a hint of gold. The black mist was instantly reduced to nothingness in the flames, and the refined corpse let out a mournful roar. After comprehending a lesser divine ability, the power of magic arts increased by 20%. Opponents of the same level would find it difficult to extinguish the flames, not to mention rank 4 low-rank refined corpses. A humanoid rank 4 high-rank refined corpse flew out of the ghost cave, and the fire sparrow spat out flames again. The refined corpse emitted a black mist, and the flames were instantly extinguished. The other demonic beasts also attacked the refined corpse with magic arts. The other refined corpses in the cave also leaped out and fought with the demonic beasts. The rank 4 high-rank refined corpse spat out a mouthful of black mist at the refined corpse surrounded by flames, wanting to extinguish the flames. Unfortunately, the flames were not ordinary, and coupled with Wang Daoyuan's spirit energy, how could they be extinguished so easily? The flames were only weakened by half, and still had enough killing power. The fire sparrow and the black bear pounced forward, entangled with the rank 4 high-rank refined corpse. Wang Daoyuan took out the vermilion bird fan and fanned the flames around to increase the power of the flames. After 100 breaths of time, the refined corpse that jumped out first was burned to ashes by the flames. On Yan Hui's side, the 4 demonic beasts were evenly matched against the 4 refined corpses. On the other hand, the fire sparrow and the black bear together were not a match for the rank 4 high-rank refined corpse. Even with the help of Wang Daoyuan's vermilion bird fan, The flames spat out by the fire sparrow still could not hurt the rank 4 high-rank refined corpse. The black bear was an earth attribute demonic beast, and had no restraining effect on the refined corpses. It could only protect itself with a spirit energy barrier, and fight with the refined corpses. 9 demonic beasts against 6 refined corpses, and with Wang Daoyuan fanning the flames, they were still at a disadvantage. The fire sparrow spoke in human language. Daoyu, if you don't release the golden crow, we won't be able to hold on. These demonic beasts were quite well informed. If Wang Daoyuan did not put in effort, he would offend these demonic beasts. He had no choice but to release the scarlet-feathered crow. The moment the scarlet-feathered crow came out, it spat out 2 fist-sized golden fireballs at the rank 4 high-rank refined corpse. Wang Daoyuan did not stay idle either. He waved the vermilion bird fan a few times, and the 2 fireballs instantly expanded to about a foot in diameter. The refined corpse wanted to dodge, but the black bear condensed 2 illusory bear paws and held it down. In the end, the 2 fireballs smashed into the rank 4 high-rank refined corpse. The golden flames instantly burned the entire body of the refined corpse, emitting a foul smell. The Scarlet Yang True Fire's restraining effect on the refined corpses was too strong. In addition, Wang Daoyuan was fanning the flames from the side. The rank 4 high-rank refined corpse used all its strength, but it still could not extinguish the flames. Just as it was about to attack Wang Daoyuan immediately hid. It knew that it would not be able to escape, so it used all its strength to kill the rank 4 low-rank demonic beasts. This was something that Wang Daoyuan was happy to see. He did not stop it, and continued to fan the vermilion bird fan. The refined corpse displayed its might and killed 3 rank 4 low-rank demonic beasts in a row. The black bear kept the refined corpse at the side. In the end, its heart was crushed by the refined corpse. After the rank 4 high-rank refined corpse killed the black bear, its strength was exhausted, and it could no longer fight. Soon it was burned to ashes. There were still 5 demonic beasts and 5 refined corpses left. In addition to Wang Daoyuan and the scarlet-feathered crow, they clearly had the upper hand. The refined corpses wanted to escape back to the ghost cave, but the scarlet-feathered crow turned into a golden sun and blocked the entrance. This sun had a diameter of 3 meters, which was only slightly smaller than the entrance. The scarlet-feathered crow's flames had just burned the rank 4 high-rank refined corpse. The other refined corpses did not dare to touch it, and could not return to the cave. The refined corpses were also decisive, and immediately retreated to the west. Chapter 595. Wang Daoyuan drew a wisp of flame from the scarlet-feathered crow, and injected fire attribute spiritual energy into it, turning it into a vermilion bird with a wingspan of 30 meters. He controlled the vermilion bird to chase after the refined corpses. The demons blocking the entrance to the ghost cave were all either lightly or heavily injured. He only wanted to chase the refined corpses away to protect his territory and his life. After seeing how difficult it was to deal with the refined corpses, he didn't dare to chase after them. Dozens of miles to the west, Yan Hui was fighting against 4 newly arrived refined corpses, with 3 mid-grade rank 4 demonic beasts. The 4 refined corpses attacked with all their might, wanting to cooperate with the 5 that escaped to take down Yan Hui. Wang Daoyuan's vermilion bird was naturally faster than the refined corpses, and quickly caught up with a mid-grade rank 4 wolf refined corpse. The vermilion bird wrapped the refined corpse with its wings, and the entire refined corpse started to burn. The refined corpse emitted a black mist, but it had no effect on the scarlet golden flames. Yan Hui naturally wouldn't wait at the same spot. He turned into a black flaming tiger that was 30 meters long and covered in black flames. With a tiger roar, the black flames turned into a towering wave of fire that covered the black tiger refined corpse. The black tiger refined corpse naturally didn't dare to take it head-on, and immediately retreated. Yan Hui took the opportunity to escape, and the other 3 mid-grade rank 4 demons also used their own methods to get rid of their opponents. The black tiger refined corpse looked at the refined corpse wrapped in scarlet golden flames, and knew that it wouldn't be able to withstand the flames. It brought the remaining refined corpses and fled to the west. The abandoned wolf demon corpse fell to the ground and was quickly burned to ashes. Yan Hui and the other 3 demons were also heavily injured and couldn't chase after them. This time, they had killed 1 high-grade, 1 middle-grade, and 1 low-grade refined corpse each. The demonic beasts had lost 3 low-grade 4th-grade corpses and 1 middle-grade 4th-grade corpses. The demons were all injured and Wang Daoyuan didn't dare to face the 8 refined corpses alone, so he gave up on chasing after them. At this moment, the black tiger refined corpse sent a message. I have no enmity with my little friend. Why do you keep ruining my plans? Wang Daoyuan was shocked. He originally thought that these refined corpses were controlled by someone. Now that he saw it, it was true. Furthermore, this consciousness came from the black tiger refined corpse. With the refined corpse's little bit of intelligence, it couldn't even understand the content of this sentence, let alone transmit it through divine sense. Even if someone was controlling it, it still wouldn't be enough. Since this refined corpse was able to transmit its voice, it could only mean that there was a relatively intelligent soul in its body. Among the methods that Wang Daoyuan knew, only the doppelganger soul nurturing technique could achieve this. In addition, the underworld water droplet that he took out last time contained a trace of fright soul. It was very similar to the soul clone nurturing technique. From this, he concluded that the person behind the refined corpses had most likely practiced the doppelganger soul nurturing technique. As for who this person was, he had some guesses in his heart, but he didn't dare to confirm. He sent a telepathic message to probe. Who are you? The black tiger refined corpse replied. Since the underworld pearl is in your hands, my inheritance should also be in your hands. Don't you know who I am? Although Wang Daoyuan had already guessed it, he was still extremely shocked. The 10,000 Corpse Taoist was a famous figure from several thousand years ago. But after several thousand years, even if the 10,000 Corpse Taoist broke through to the Yuanying stage, it was impossible for him to live until now. In the underworld water droplet that he took out from Yin Hui's body, the wisp of soul seemed to have been separated from a ghost soul. In other words, the 10,000 Corpse Taoist was very likely to have walked the path of ghost cultivation. Ghost cultivators were cultivators whose lifespan had yet to run out. After a cultivator died and didn't find a suitable body to possess, there was a very small chance that they would turn into a ghost cultivator if they had a ghost cultivation technique. Of course, only cultivators at the Violet Palace realm and above would have a chance to turn into a ghost cultivator. The soul of a Violet Palace realm cultivator wasn't strong enough, and the possibility of turning into a ghost cultivator was very low. The soul below the Violet Palace realm was too weak, and there was no chance at all. Ghost cultivators were also considered a path of cultivation permitted by heaven and earth. They could also cultivate to become immortals, but the possibility was very small. Ghost cultivators weren't considered living beings, so they naturally didn't have an upper limit to their lifespan and wouldn't die of old age. But every 500 years, they would have to undergo heavenly tribulation. Furthermore, the heavenly tribulation would be stronger each time. Unless they cultivated to become a ghost immortal, or were struck to death, the heavenly tribulation would never end, even if they were hidden in a secret realm. However, the underworld secret realm was a little special. Legend had it that the underworld secret realm was the intersection of the yin and yang realms. If a ghost cultivator stayed in a place like this, it could be considered as staying in the yin realm. It was hard to say whether there would be a heavenly tribulation. Of course, there were also ways to avoid the heavenly tribulation. There were some special spiritual items that could conceal the secrets of heaven. If a ghost cultivator hid in them, there wouldn't be a heavenly tribulation. Apart from that, there were also some secret techniques that could destroy one's cultivation and lower one's cultivation to the Violet Palace realm. If a ghost cultivator couldn't conceal the secrets of heaven, what they would attract wouldn't be a heavenly tribulation, but a heavenly punishment. Wang Daoyuan transmitted his voice. The refined corpses are causing chaos among the demon beasts, and they are all running towards the south of the mountain. The human race has suffered great losses. Can't your refined corpses run to other places? If they're not going to the south, they're going to the east. They'll always affect the human race's territory. You're deliberately going against the human race. So I have no choice but to stand up and kill the refined corpses. The black tiger refined corpse transmitted his voice again. All right, I won't go to the east or south. If you interfere in this matter again, I'll personally kill you. The demons and half-demons were in the west and north. If the refined corpses went there and killed the demons and half-demons, it would make space for the human race. The demons' spiritual senses were far inferior to his, so they didn't notice his voice transmission. After the refined corpses were far away, Yan Hui smiled. Brother Wang, I'll have to trouble you to treat my injuries again. It's fine. As long as there's no underworld water droplet, it won't take much effort. With that, he put away the vermilion bird's projection and drew out a wisp of life spiritual fire. He continuously injected spiritual energy into it, causing the flames to grow rapidly. He took out the vermilion bird fan and controlled the flames to heal all the demons that were still alive. The demons' injuries were all black, and they were ordinary injuries. It only took 15 minutes for the treatment to be completed. The fire sparrow transformed into a red-robed man and walked to Wang Daoyuan. He cupped his hands and said, "Thank you, Daoyu, for helping the demon race fend off the enemy and heal our injuries. Previously, you forced my sister to make an agreement between the human race and the demon race, as well as the matter of raising spirit beasts. I won't trouble you anymore. The agreement between the human race and the demon race should be that the golden core cultivators of the human race and the demon race would not participate in the battle between those below the golden core level." Wang Daoyuan smiled and said, "That agreement is beneficial to both the human race and the demon race, and it will prevent a big conflict. As for the matter of raising spirit beasts, these spirit beasts that I raised were all saved by me. I saved them and made them work for me. Is there a problem? Don't you demons also raise humans as slaves and servants? Otherwise, where did the half-demons come from?" Yan Hui came out to smooth things over. Brother Wang's words make sense. We demons also pay attention to gratitude. Since he saved those demons, it's only right that they listen to his orders. I feel that Brother Wang's agreement with the demon race is not bad. He has done a great favor for us demons, and it's understandable that the Wang family occupies some territory in the heaven/mountain range. Even if the rank 4 combatants of both sides don't attack, the casualties can be reduced. As for the battles below rank 4, it's good to fight more and eliminate some useless low-level demons. It's also to prevent too many demons from causing insufficient resources. The low-level demons fight all day and even threaten our territory. At that time, we have no choice but to drive them away and attack the human race's territory. Once both sides really fight, it's inevitable that we, the rank 4 demons, will have casualties. In the beast tide more than 500 years ago, the human race suffered heavy casualties. Didn't our demon race suffer the same? Until now, the number of rank 4 demons is less than 1/3 of the number before the beast tide. The other demons also nodded in agreement. The red-robed man that the fire sparrow transformed into also had no objections. Yan Hui's words made Wang Daoyuan feel very novel. It was the first time he heard of this reason for the beast tide. In this way, as long as enough low-level demons were killed, the beast tide was not unavoidable. Yan Hui asked again, "How should we deal with this ghost cave? If we leave it, it will still be a big problem when we refine corpses in the future. Why don't we settle it once and for all? Brother Wang has many methods. I wonder if there's any way to completely settle the ghost cave?" Chapter 596. Wang Daoyuan answered, "It's hard to say. I don't know what's going on inside the ghost cave, so it's better to check it out first." At this point, the golden crow had already retracted its divine ability and left the ghost cave. However, the yin qi inside the ghost cave was extremely dense, so Wang Daoyuan did not dare to enter recklessly. He released more than 100 second-order mid-grade soul-chasing bees into the ghost cave to check out the situation. The yin qi inside the ghost cave originated from the underground yin vein, so it was pure yin qi that would not directly harm living creatures. Wang Daoyuan understood the situation inside the ghost cave through the connection between the soul-chasing bees and the soul-chasing bees. After the soul-chasing bees entered the cave, there was a winding tunnel that extended more than 4,000 feet underground. At the end of the tunnel was the ghost cave. The ghost cave was very spacious, occupying more than 100 mu. There was a huge crack that ran through the entire cave, which was more than 1 zhang wide. Dense yin qi gushed out from the crack, and its density was comparable to that of a mid-grade 4th-order spiritual vein. There was nothing else in the cave, except for some traces left behind by refined corpses. Wang Daoyuan recalled the soul-chasing bees and said, "The ghost cave is more than 4,000 feet underground, and there is a crack in the yin vein. Normally, to deal with this kind of cave, we can block the crack in the yin vein and connect it to the spiritual vein. We can also dig out all the rock layers above the cave and use the sun to suppress the yin qi. However, this cave is more than 4,000 feet deep from the ground and the underground lava, so it's not easy to walk through. Blocking it is not much use. If we can block it, they can open it. The ghost cave is already empty, so let's go down and check it out before making a decision." Seeing that the soul-chasing bees could return alive, the monsters were not worried anymore. 3 monsters were left to guard the top, while the others entered the ghost cave. After entering the cave, Wang Daoyuan checked the rock walls. The rock had been nourished by yin qi for many years, and its hardness was comparable to a low-grade 3rd-order blacksmithing material. It was not suitable for blacksmithing, but it could be used to build a fort. The rock's hardness was not high, but if they were to do something underground, they would have to break through several hundred feet of rock layers. If a low-grade 3rd-order blacksmithing material were to break through several hundred feet, it would be a little scary. If he used the dust-returning flame, it would not be a problem. However, Wang Daoyuan did not want to expose his spiritual fire so casually. If he wanted to dig through the rock wall, he could only use magic to smash it. In such an environment, it would be difficult to deal with the netherworld cave once and for all. Another way was to find underground water veins. Draw the water vein over, just like the Gui water nether spring, and bring the yin qi out. If this method could be realized, there would be a river at the entrance of the ghost cave in the future. Just like the profound yin market, it would become a gathering place for evil cultivators. At that time, it would attract a large number of heretical cultivators and let them slowly exhaust the demonic beasts. The yin qi here was thick. The rocks had been nurtured for many years, so it was difficult for one's divine sense to penetrate them. One had to rely on the spirit-seeking compass to find water veins. Wang Daoyuan took out the spirit-seeking compass and activated it. Spiritual light entered the rock wall to search for water nearby. There were many rivers in the heavenly/mountain range, so it was not difficult to find underground water veins. There were 3 water veins in the vicinity of the netherworld cavern, and the closest one was over 100 zhang underground. Upon discovering the water vein, Wang Daoyuan's face lit up with joy. Yan Hui quickly asked, "Brother Wang, have you thought of a way?" Wang Daoyuan smiled and said, "I have indeed thought of a way. Since we can't seal the yin vein, we can bring the yin qi out. There is a very large underground water vein 100 zhang underground. As long as we open the underground water vein, the water will gush out and fill up the netherworld cavern. At that time, a river will flow out of the netherworld cavern, and all the yin qi will be brought out. When the cavern is filled with water, there will be no need to worry about refined corpses hiding here." All the demonic beasts nodded in agreement. Wang Daoyuan marked the place on the ground where they were going to start. "Dig 100 zhang underground from here, and you will find the underground water vein." A muscular man in brown armor stood out. "If you want to talk about this, I will be in high spirits." This guy was a pangolin-type demonic beast with a cultivation base of the 4th stage. Although his strength was not high, when it came to digging holes, no one could compare with him. Wang Daoyuan smiled and said, "What a coincidence with King Pashan here. It won't take much effort to dig 100 zhang deep hole." He revealed his original form, which was a pangolin more than 30 zhang long. After a while, his body shrunk to 20 zhang long, and his 2 front claws flashed with cold light. His whole body flashed with brown light, and then he turned into a whirlwind, spinning on the rock stratum. After 200 breaths, a hole with a diameter of 3 zhang and a depth of more than 30 zhang was dug out in the rock stratum. King Pashan panted and said, "This rock stratum is really hard. It is so difficult for me to break through it with my rock-breaking divine ability. I have used too much spiritual power. Let me rest for a while." The hole was not far from the crack where the yin qi was gushing out. There were also small cracks in the rock stratum, and pure yin qi was seeping out. Wang Daoyuan felt a fluctuation similar to divine sense in this pure yin qi. Near the fourth stage spirit vein, there was likely to be heaven and earth treasures. He jumped into the hole and carefully examined the place where the divine sense fluctuation was coming from. There were many small cracks here. He drew out a wisp of flame from the red-feathered crow and used the vermilion bird fire manipulation technique, and the flame instantly soared. The flame seeped into the cracks of the rock stratum, and the pure yang qi in it constantly consumed the pure yin qi in the rock stratum. After burning for 10 minutes, Wang Daoyuan used the earth-splitting technique to forcibly shatter the rock stratum. After a quarter of an hour, he finally broke through the 50 zhang deep rock stratum. Behind the rock stratum, there was a small space about 3 feet square, which was connected to the yin qi crack. There was a strange flower growing in the small space. The whole plant was only 1 foot tall, and it had 7 pitch-black leaves that were shaped like human hands. On top of it was a blood-red flower about 6 inches in diameter, with 7 petals. On each petal, there was a looming ghost face, and the ghost face was exuding a power similar to divine sense. The alchemy inheritance that Wang Daoyuan exchanged from the underworld sect came from the 100 spirits' true lord. There were many records of these strange spirit plants. This spirit plant was called the 7-leaf ghost face flower, and it could grow into a 5th-grade spirit plant. Of course, the one in front of him was only a 4th-grade spirit plant. The precious part of the 7-leaf ghost face flower was its petals. After the flower bloomed, if the surrounding yin qi was dense enough, each petal would condense a drop of flower dew every 100 years. After consuming this flower dew, it could strengthen one's divine sense cultivation and also restore the power of one's divine sense. Moreover, after consuming it, there was no need to refine it. It could restore one's divine sense in half a cup of tea's time. With Wang Daoyuan's current divine sense cultivation, even if his divine sense was exhausted, he only needed a drop of flower dew to completely restore it. After the flower dew drops, it would be stored in the core of the flower to nourish the seeds. The seeds needed 1,000 years to mature, and during this 1,000 years, the flower would always be in a blooming state. If too much flower dew was used, it would cause the seeds to mature later. However, the flower couldn't always bloom. If the seeds couldn't mature after 2,000 years, the flowers would wither, and the seeds wouldn't be able to survive. A 7-leaf ghost face flower could grow 7 seeds. When the seeds matured, they would absorb all the essence of the spirit plant, and the plant would wither. The seeds had the effect of repairing the soul, but unfortunately it couldn't repair the divine sense. Wang Daoyuan had the ink jade lotus, so he didn't care about this function. The seeds of the 7-leaf ghost face flower also needed 1,000 years from germination to blooming. This ghost face flower had very little flower dew in the core, so it should have just bloomed. In the space of the spirit pearl, the concentration of pure yin qi near the Gui water hell flame was not lower than the ghost cave, so it shouldn't be a problem to grow the 7-leaf ghost face flower. Coupled with the more than 42 times faster flow of time, it would only take a little more than 2 years to harvest 7 drops of flower dew. Moreover, the flow of time in the space of the spirit pearl was gradually accelerating. In the future, if he could reproduce more, he wouldn't have to worry about using his divine sense too quickly. This 7-leaf ghost face flower must be obtained, even if he had to pay a price. Chapter 597. Wang Daoyuan said, "Daoyu, I have a use for this flower, so I won't share it with you. I can use other things to compensate you. What do you think, Daoyu?" Yan Hui waved his hand. "You just helped us a lot, and you found this flower, so you can just keep it. You humans know how to refine pills and grow these spiritual herbs. If we take it, we'll just eat it in one bite." Wang Daoyuan said with a smile. Everyone has a share, so I have to compensate you, Daoyu. Especially King Pashan Daoyu, he put a lot of effort into digging this hole. I don't have anything good on me, so I'll compensate you, Daoyu, with some spiritual wine. Demon beasts had strong bodies, especially the larger ones. Their alcohol tolerance was generally much higher than humans of the same level. There were many demon beasts that liked to drink, and they especially liked to drink strong wine. But generally, demon beasts didn't have high intelligence and didn't know how to brew wine. Rank 4 demon beasts had enough intelligence, but unfortunately, the materials for rank 4 spiritual wine were not easy to find. Therefore, these demon beasts usually had a hard time drinking spiritual wine. Wang Daoyuan still had hundreds of jars of drunken dragon wine in the space of the spirit pearl. Even the 12th uncle, the drunkard, found this wine too strong. Moreover, drunken dragon wine was not a unique wine recipe of the Wang family. It was widely spread in the entire cultivation world, so there was no need to be afraid of taking out a few thousand years old wine. The main ingredient of drunken dragon wine, drunken dragon grass, was a rank 3 spiritual plant. Unfortunately, the supplementary ingredients were not very good. It needed to be stored for 100 years to reach the level of rank 3 spiritual wine. If it wanted to reach rank 4 spiritual wine, it needed to be stored for 1,000 years in a cellar with extremely abundant spiritual qi. However, Wang Daoyuan happened to have this condition. Now he still had more than 40 jars of drunken dragon wine that were more than 1,000 years old. Rank 4 spiritual wine was also very beneficial to these rank 4 demon beasts. Wang Daoyuan took out 20 jars of 1,000-year-old drunken dragon wine and said with a smile, "When I explored the cave of the ancient cultivator, I obtained some spiritual wine." King Pashan helped dig the hole and took 4 jars. The other Daoyu will get 2 jars each. What do you think? All the demons were somewhat tempted. Even if they didn't like to drink, they could take it out to exchange for spiritual items with other demons. The value of tier 4 spiritual wine wasn't low. However, they did not speak. Instead, they looked at Yan Hui, waiting for him to speak. Yan Hui smiled and said, "Since that's the case, we'll take advantage of Brother Wang." As soon as he opened his mouth, the others smiled and took the drunken dragon wine. Another demon took 6 jars of wine and gave them to the brothers guarding above. Wang Daoyuan took out his white tiger blade and cut off all the rocks around the 7-leaf ghost face flower. Then he kept them in his spiritual pearl. Doppelganger Tu Yuming dug a hole near the Gui water nether flames and buried the ghost face flower along with the stone. Then he left the pit. King Pashan drank a mouthful of drunken dragon wine and quickly recovered his spiritual power. He continued to dig. With the help of the spirit wine, King Pashan's digging speed became much faster. In the time it took to brew a cup of tea, the underground water vein was dug through. The underground water vein was extremely abundant, and the pit that King Pashan dug was also relatively large. As soon as the pit was dug through, a water column with a diameter of 3 meters gushed out from the ground. This amount of water could produce tens of thousands of kilograms of water in one breath. Not long after, the ghost cave would be filled, and the water would flow out of the cave. After achieving their goal, everyone quickly left the ghost cave. After returning to the surface, Wang Daoyuan bid farewell to the demons and kept the red-winged crow back into the spiritual pearl. Then, he concealed himself and flew towards the south. Not long after, he suddenly sensed Doppelganger Zhengping. Doppelganger Zhengping was a Violet Palace realm cultivator. He subdued the living corpse in the Heavenly Fiend gold mine in the Blood Demon City. Later, he sent Zhengping to explore the path that the 10,000 corpse spiritual master used to cross the sky/mountain range. There had been no news of him in the past few decades, and Wang Daoyuan could not determine his specific location. A few years ago, Wang Daoyuan sensed that Zhengping had died. Of course, he was a living corpse when he was alive. Death was nothing. He only had a refined corpse clone, and could still maintain his spiritual consciousness. Wang Daoyuan no longer had any hope for Doppelganger Zhengping. He did not expect to sense its existence here. He used his panoramic perception on Zhengping and pried into his memories. Zheng Ping's current location was more than 13,000 kilometers east of Wangdaoyuan. At this distance, he should be east of the Sky Beheading Mountain Range. He followed the route left behind by the 10,000 Corpse spiritual master and entered an underground karst cave. There were many forks in the karst cave. He relied on his refining skills to refine a compass to determine the direction and walked all the way to the east. After several years, he walked out of the karst cave and arrived at a small river valley. A small river flowed towards the northeast. He followed the stream downstream, and the stream eventually merged into a large river. Then he entered a relatively flat area. This was a huge river valley. The valley was mainly flat land with some small mountains. There were many half-demons living in the river valley. Some of the spiritual mountains even had half-demon tribes or clans. Zheng Ping did not see any human forces there. There were a few humans who were raised in the half-demon tribes. However, there were no experts among the half-demons. The strongest was only in the late-stage Violet Palace realm. The strangest thing was that there were clouds in this valley that did not dissipate all year round. These clouds also had the effect of blocking one's divine sense. Even with the divine sense of a late-stage Violet Palace realm cultivator, he could only sense a few hundred meters away at noon where the clouds were the thinnest. At dawn, when the clouds were the thickest, he could not even sense a few hundred meters away. After several years of searching, he found the place where the clouds were the thickest. This place was in the north of the entire river valley. There was a mountain range that ran east-west. There was a high-grade Tier 4 spirit vein in the mountain. Zheng Ping took the risk and entered the clouds to explore. He found a group of dilapidated palaces there. The clouds were surging out from these palaces. He entered the palaces to investigate. At the edge of the palaces, he found a stone memorial arch. On it was written, Valley of Beasts Purple Gold River Branch Hall. Tens of thousands of years ago, the Valley of Beasts was on par with the Divine Weapon Pavilion and other top forces. They were ordered by the Ancient Almighty to guard the Sky Beheading Mountain Range and protect the human territory. However, the spirit Qi and Xiuxian gradually declined. The upper limit of the cultivator's cultivation became lower and lower. The advantage of the demon beast's longer lifespans became apparent. In the end, the Valley of Beasts was destroyed by the demon beasts. Although many inheritances were spread out, there were no more forces that could compare to the Valley of Beasts. Ever since Wang Daoyuan heard about the Valley of Beasts, he paid more attention to collecting information about the Valley of Beasts. The Five Elements spiritual master had mentioned the Valley of Beasts in his Beiyuan records. There was no need to talk about the strength of this sect. Its inheritances were comparable to the current four top forces. In addition, it raised all kinds of spirit beasts with extraordinary bloodlines. Its strength was naturally not weak. It was said that around the year 10,000 of the Beiyuan calendar, there were still pure-blooded divine beasts in the Valley of Beasts. However, there was a strange place in the Valley of Beasts. That was, no one knew where the mountain gate was. Even the four top forces did not know the details of the Valley of Beasts. When the other forces interacted with the Valley of Beasts, they only went to the Valley of Beasts branch. For example, the current 10,000 Dragon Mountain was the most famous branch of the Valley of Beasts, the 10,000 Dragon branch. Most of the dragon species in the 10,000 Dragon Mountain were the bloodlines left behind by the Valley of Beasts spirit beasts. He did not expect to encounter a branch of the Valley of Beasts in the east of the Sky/Mountain Range. After Zheng Ping entered the Valley of Beasts branch, he discovered that there were traces of fighting everywhere. There were broken palaces, array foundations, and some bones that had long decayed. There were also many incomplete bones of humans and demon beasts. The Valley of Beasts had been destroyed by the demon race. These traces should have been left behind by the demon race after the Valley of Beasts had declined. Zheng Ping explored the depths of the palaces and discovered that there were still incomplete array formations that could still be used. These places should be the core areas of the Valley of Beasts branch. The array formations were more advanced and had not been completely destroyed by the demon beasts. Some of the buildings were still intact, and the array formations were also relatively intact. This time, Wang Daoyuan was also a little excited. When the Valley of Beasts was destroyed, It should have been about 50,000 years ago. At that time, Beijing Xiuxian not only had Yuanian cultivators, but also soul formation cultivators. These places that had not been destroyed might still have high-grade spiritual items that could assist in breaking through to the Yuanian stage. Chapter 598. Since 10,000 years ago, Beiyuan Xiuxian no longer had a Stage 5 spirit vein. The four top factions relied on the Stage 5 spiritual items they had accumulated to continue to break through to the Yuanian realm. About 10,000 years ago, when the various countries were fighting for hegemony, these Stage 5 spiritual items were used up, and no human cultivators broke through to the Yuanian realm. 50,000 years ago, soul formation cultivators were the stabilizing force, and Yuanian cultivators could only be considered as high-end combat power. This purple gold river branch had to have a Yuanian cultivator overseeing it. A place with Yuanian cultivators had a high chance of having a Stage 5 spiritual item. Zheng Ping's clone had the same thought. He relied on his understanding of array formations, and these remaining array formations were full of flaws to enter. He really found some remaining spiritual items, but unfortunately, he triggered the restriction when he took them. If not for the fact that the restriction was severely damaged and had been used up for tens of thousands of years, Zheng Ping would have been killed by the restriction. Even so, he was still trapped in the array formation. In the end, his lifespan was exhausted, and he became a refined corpse. Until now, he still could not escape from the array formation. Wang Daoyuan was less than 500 miles away from the sky/mountain range's main vein. He had never been so close before. He was always more than 15,000 miles away from Zheng Ping in a straight line. It was beyond the range of the panoramic perception clone, so he did not notice Zheng Ping's situation. Now that he knew about the purple gold river branch's situation, he naturally could not ignore it. Even if there were no Stage 5 spiritual items, it was not a big deal. How could a top faction's branch lack good items? Even if it had been plundered by the demonic beasts, cultivation techniques, spells, refining materials, and other items that were useless to the demonic beasts, but useful to the human race could still be preserved. Zheng Ping did not explore the purple gold river valley too much. However, he had obtained some information from the indigenous half-demons. The purple gold river flowed from the west to the east into the Turtle Dragon Sea. The entire purple gold river valley spanned 40,000 to 50,000 miles from east to west. Moreover, the mouth of the purple gold river was still accumulating sand and expanding into the sea. As for the width, the entire valley became wider as it went east. The widest part was more than 20,000 miles, and the average width was more than 10,000 miles. The entire territory of the Zijin River Valley was much larger than that of Southyan County, and the quality of the spirit veins was much higher. Not to mention other things, even Yan'an County couldn't compare to the level 4 high-grade non-elemental spirit vein in the Purple Gold River branch. If the Wang clan could migrate a portion of their clansmen over and have a Golden Core Realm cultivator to oversee the situation, they would be able to gain a firm foothold in no time. There wasn't a complicated network of relationships over there. It would only take a few hundred years for them to dominate the entire Zijin River Valley. As for the half-demons, as long as the clansmen could reproduce quickly enough, they could all be assimilated. He could discuss the migration of the clansmen with his fifth great-uncle, and the others when he was free. Although the matter of the Zijin River branch and the Zijin River Valley was important, it wasn't worth Wang Daoyuan taking the risk himself. Besides, it wasn't like he didn't have any subordinates he could use. Now that the matter at the Netherworld Cave had been settled, the soul-devouring doppelganger had been freed up. He could now go to the Purple Gold River Branch Hall to think of a solution. His minor divine ability contained some spatial laws. He might be able to bypass the array formation of the Purple Gold River Branch and take out the spiritual items inside. Wang Daoyuan sent the soul-devouring doppelganger to the Purple Gold River Branch and reaped as many benefits as he could. If he didn't obtain any benefits from the Purple Gold River Branch, he could also explore the valley and lay a foundation for the clan to take root here in the future. After arranging the soul-devouring doppelganger, Wang Daoyuan left the heavenly/mountain range and returned to the Jade Spring Peak. He had solved a major problem and reached an agreement with Yan Hui and the others. Yan Hui was a level 4 high-grade demon. Even if he wasn't considered a top expert among the demon clans, he still had some say. His words had some weight. In the future, the Wang clan and the administrator's residence could develop the heavenly/mountain range without worry. After returning to the Jade Spring Peak, he went straight to the executive hall. The third brother and Wang Mingshan were handling matters here. Wang Daoyuan went straight to the point. The ordinary clansmen that the clan moved back from the heavenly/mountain range can be moved back. The various industries in the Fallen Dragon Ridge should also be restored as soon as possible. The third brother, Wang Daochang, was pleasantly surprised. The matter has been resolved? Wang Daoyuan smiled and said. Previously, it was the Shanbei refined corpse that caused the demon beasts to run amok and threaten the Fallen Dragon Ridge. Now, I have helped the demon clans chase away the refined corpse. I have also reached an agreement with the demon clans. Human Golden Core and level 4 demons are not allowed to participate in the battle between those below the Golden Core stage. The third brother was overjoyed. In this way, the heavenly/mountain range will really become our Wang clan's back garden. Without level 4 demon beasts, the flying warships and various spirit talismans and array formations will not be difficult to kill the demon clans. After a few hundred years, there won't be many demon beasts in the heavenly/mountain range. Wang Daoyuan shook his head. We can't be too hasty. Our Wang clan's current strength is still too weak to suppress the demon clans. If we kill all the demons below level 4 now, those level 4 demons are not fools. They will definitely stop us from continuing to expand. It's better to do it step by step and slowly expand. By the time they realize that something is wrong, our Wang clan will no longer be afraid of anything. The third brother nodded. All right then, let's slowly devour the heavenly/mountain range and slowly strengthen the clan. Wang Daoyuan took out a copy of the mind map and handed it to the third brother. This is the mind map I got from the Zhao clan. There is a level 3 superior grade silver light mystic iron mine south of the Fallen Dragon Ridge. It can be developed now. The clan will send trustworthy people over to arrange the mining matters. If we can excavate this mine, the clan will no longer have to worry about the materials for level 3 flying warships. The third brother took the mine map and was so excited that he couldn't speak. Wang Daoyuan smiled as he left the executive hall and returned to the cave abode under the earth fire chamber. Zhou Wan saw him return with a happy expression and asked, You are all smiles. Did something good happen? The refined corpse at the Netherworld cave has been dealt with. Yan Hui has acknowledged my agreement with the demon clans. The clan can expand to the heavenly/mountain range without worry. This is 3 consecutive good things. Why don't we celebrate properly? Before he finished speaking, Zhou Wan's Hall Master token flashed. Wang Daoyuan's face fell immediately. The level of these messengers was not low. They specially sent a message at this time. Zhou Wan checked and said with a smile, The Netherworld sect is going to be angry. Those Zhao clan cultivators from the northern part of the mountain are making a big move again. They are leading a group of old clan cultivators and some itinerant cultivators to an industry in the eastern part of the Darkwater Commandery. That industry seems to be a level 4 infernal mystic crystal mine. The mystic crystals it produces are very important to heretic cultivators. The pure yin qi it contains can be used for cultivation and also for refining weapons. This is the lifeblood of the Netherworld sect. Luo Jio should be angry now. The mystic crystal mine was second only to the Darkwater River in importance to the Netherworld sect. It was also the foundation of the sect. Wang Daoyuan said with a smile, This is 4 consecutive good things. We should celebrate. But don't worry. Luo Jio will send a message soon and ask me to bring people to help. After all, the easternmost part of the Darkwater Commandery is only 10,000 miles away from the Jinyan city. Sure enough, after a quarter of an hour, he received a message from Luo Jio, asking him to bring people to support the mystic crystal mine. Wang Daoyuan naturally agreed and sent a message back. I have begun to gather people. Then he said with a smile, the Netherworld sect is anxious. Luo Juyo is really desperate. He even asked me to help. Zhou Luan said with disdain. Why did you lie to him and gather people if you don't help? Aren't you afraid that Luo Juyo will let his guard down and let the Zhao clan take advantage of him? Wang Daoyuan said with an innocent face. Luo Juyo is not a fool. He begged me just because he wants to get lucky. He can't really count on me. Besides, I didn't lie to him. Wouldn't it take time to gather people? I didn't promise when to help. It's normal to spend 8 to 10 years to gather people for a war in the cultivation world. Aren't we also gathering people? If you give birth to a baby, you will gather people. If you travel 10,000 miles to help, you will need at least 180 cultivators, right? Chapter 599. 3 days later, Zhou Luan received news from the intelligence personnel one after another. Wang Daoyuan also received many messages from Luo Juyo and Gu Wangzong asking for help. However, the messages from both sides were not the same. Zhou Luan's intelligence showed that the mysterious 9 nether crystal mine was already in a precarious situation. The 3 golden core cultivators of the Zhao family, who met Wang Daoyuan, before all attacked the defensive formation. There was only a middle-grade 3rd-level spirit vein near the mine, which couldn't support a 4th-level formation at all. The 4th-level formation of the Netherworld sect could only be set up with formation discs and activated by high-grade spirit stones. This kind of formation couldn't last for too long in the face of a golden core cultivator. Either the high-grade spirit stones were exhausted, or there was a problem with the formation discs. After all, the formation discs arranged a large number of formation patterns on a small piece of material. Once the formation was attacked, the formation discs would bear too much power and be easily damaged. At present, the Netherworld sect still hadn't sent any golden core cultivators to help. The Netherworld sect currently had 3 golden core cultivators left behind. In addition to Luo Juyo and Gu Wangzong, there was also Zhong Yaoting, Zhong Xinjiang's grandnephew. He ate the corpse core that Zhong Xinjiang exchanged for with the essence of his divine ability. So he didn't disappoint and finally succeeded in forming his core. However, the 3 golden core cultivators of the Zhao family, who attacked the mine, were all in the late stage of the golden core realm. Luo Juyo and the other 2 together could only defeat Zhao Lingyan. The other 2 could use the Gui Water Divine Thunder, so the 3 of them together might not be able to defeat one of them. The news from the Netherworld sect was that the battle situation was very good. The defensive formation of the mysterious 9 nether crystal mine was indestructible. The Zhao family cultivators used human lives to fill the formation and suffered heavy losses. Luo Juyo even concealed the fact that there were golden core cultivators, saying that no golden core cultivators participated in the battle. This guy was taking advantage of the Wang family's lack of intelligence. In the past, the intelligence wasn't very good, and the Dark Hall couldn't even keep an eye on Yunnan County. But now it was different. Bringing Zhou Luan back to the Jade Spring Peak was equivalent to getting the Blood Shadows intelligence network. He didn't even need to leave the bed, and the information was in his control. Now even Gu Wangzong came to urge him to gather people as soon as possible. Wang Daoyuan cursed. I don't want to gather people. Most importantly, how many times a day would they be able to endure it? Even if she was pregnant now, it would take 10 months for the first person to arrive. I'm not in a hurry. Why is the Netherworld sect in a hurry for me? Zhou Luan said coldly. You can't stand it, and you still want to flirt with other women? If you can stand it, are you planning to marry 8 or 10 women? Wang Daoyuan quickly explained. No, I wouldn't dare. A day later, Zhou Luan received news that the 9 nether mysterious crystal mine's defensive array formation had been breached. Countless low-level disciples of the Netherworld school were killed or injured. The remaining Zifu disciples and a few Foundation establishment disciples retreated into the mines. With the help of the formation, the Jindan cultivators of the Zhao family entered the mine to clean up the remaining enemies. The news that Luo Juyo, that shameless guy, sent over was that the Zhao family had retreated in defeat and asked Wang Daoyuan to send people to intercept and kill them from the front. He had killed countless enemies and entered the mine. Wang Daoyuan's message was the same as before. He was trying his best to gather people. Half a day later, the battle situation suddenly changed. Zhou Wan's subordinates mixed in with the Zhao family's team sent news that there was a huge commotion in the mine that far exceeded the Zifu disciples' battle. Not long after, another piece of news came. It seemed that a Jindan cultivator had self-detonated his Jindan. The entire mine was shaking violently, and a huge crack appeared on a section of the mountain. Then, Zhao Lingyan escaped from the mine alone, and he was seriously injured. The other 2 Jindan cultivators of the Zhao family never came out. 2 of the 3 Jindan cultivators were missing, and the last one fled. The battle situation changed in an instant. The Zifu disciples of the Zhao family all fled, and the Netherworld school didn't send people to chase after them. Zhou Wan asked, "The outcome has been decided. Aren't you going to take advantage of it?" Wang Daoyuan laughed. "What advantage can I take? Zhao Lingyan isn't a loyal supporter of the long-legged prince. In the future, when the 9th prince rises, he can still be a pawn. The outcome has been decided. We can also have a good night's sleep. Why meddle in other people's business? I'm so tired these days. I need to have a good rest." Wang Daoyuan hugged his wife and slept, but the Zhao family couldn't sleep. Zhao Lingyan and the other 2 Jindan cultivators of the Zhao family didn't move together in the mine. After someone self-detonated his Jindan, he didn't know the details. But he was injured by the aftershock of the explosion, and when he escaped, he was attacked by the refined corpse. He didn't know how many backup plans were hidden in the mine. Wanchuan Market was far away from the Netherworld School's guardian residence, and now it was the long-legged prince's temporary residence. At this time, there were 5 Jindan cultivators in the meeting hall. A middle-aged cultivator, wearing an aqua-blue dragon robe and a crown, sat on the main seat. He said, "It seems that the 3 major sects still have a lot of backup plans. It won't be easy for us to win. What do you think we should do?" Gu Qingfeng was also in the meeting hall. He quickly said, "Your Majesty, we don't know how many backup plans the 3 major sects have. If we continue to fight, we don't have the confidence to win. Why don't we bring all the cultivators back to Linhai Prefecture? In 100 years, the 3 major sects will be short of manpower. At that time, we can make a comeback and succeed in one fell swoop." 2 other Jindan cultivators nodded in agreement. These people weren't from the Zhao family, but the families of Linhai Prefecture. They followed the long-legged prince to reap benefits. Now that they couldn't reap any benefits, and might even lose their lives, it was naturally better to leave as soon as possible. The Zhao family had kidnapped many cultivators of the 3 major sects' subordinate families. If these people were brought back to Linhai Prefecture, they would get a lot of manpower. The long-legged prince was naturally unhappy that the Zhao family lost 2 late-stage Jindan cultivators, and one was seriously injured. After so many years, many Jindan cultivators who were directly loyal to him had passed away. The remaining Jindan cultivators didn't have much lifespan left. He didn't dare to wait any longer. If this went on, all the Jindan cultivators under him would die, and he would be a mere figurehead. Even if he succeeded in reviving the country, he would only be a puppet of the 13 families. Moreover, he wasn't young anymore. If he couldn't revive the country before he passed away and died in front of the 9th prince, then the Zhao family would have to serve the 9th prince. An old cultivator wearing a blue python robe and a golden crown said, "We can't do that. If we retreat, the low-level cultivators will suffer heavy losses on their way back to Linhai Prefecture. Rather than letting the low-level cultivators die in the mouths of the demon beasts, why don't we use them as scapegoats to exhaust the 3 major sects' strength? If we can take down the 3 major sects, it'll be good. If not, we can at least get a feel of the 3 major sects' strength." The long-legged prince said, "Linhai monarch's words are reasonable." Gu Qingfeng nodded. "Since we don't have the confidence to win, and still want to use these old families to exhaust the 3 major sects, there's no need for us to attack the various industries. If there's a Jindan cultivator hiding in one of the important industries, our losses will be great. If we attack the 3 River Market directly and succeed, the cultivators of the 3 sects at Wuqing Pass will be wiped out. If we fail, will be able to retreat in time. Everyone nodded. As long as they could take down the Three River Market, the cultivators of the three sects at Wuqing Pass would be in trouble. Song Yin was an extremely crazy person, and naturally wouldn't let them go so easily. At that time, the Jindan cultivators of the three sects might be able to escape. However, the low-level cultivators wouldn't be able to leave alive. They were the majority of the three major sects' strength. If they were all killed, and the long-legged prince swept through more than 90% of the families, the three major sects would have a shortage of manpower, and the state of Zhao wouldn't be able to recover for 100 years. Linhai Monarch added, "In that case, we'll have to change the news about Ling Yan. Say that he was besieged by many Jindan cultivators, sent by the three sections. 2 of his clansmen detonated their Jindan, and killed 3 cultivators from the Netherworld sect. If those family cultivators know the truth, I'm afraid they'll change sides." Everyone nodded in agreement. Chapter 600. Wang Daoyuan had met the 2 late Golden Core cultivators who had self-detonated. Neither of them was weaker than him. They could also use the Gui Water Divine Lightning to restrain the Underworld sect cultivators. Since the Underworld sect could force them to self-detonate, there should be a lot of Golden Core cultivators hidden in the mine. After this, the Zhao clan was also on guard. It was impossible for them to fall into such an ambush again. The 3 major sects' hope of killing the Zhao clan was naturally shattered. If the 2 sides wanted to determine the winner, they could only fight head-on. After the self-detonation of the last 2 late Golden Core cultivators, the Underworld sect had lost a lot of men. It was hard to say how much money both sides had left. It was still unknown who would win, and who would lose this battle. There was still a good show to watch. Ever since the Wanchuan market had been conquered, it had become the long-legged prince's base camp. 3 days after the Onyx Crystal Mine's defeat, more than 50 flying warships set off from the Wanchuan market and went upstream along the Wanchuan River. Along the way, there were various markets and flying ships of various sizes coming over. When the group arrived at the Wanchuan market, there were already hundreds of flying ships, following behind the flying warships. The Three River Market was divided into 3 parts. The Underworld sect occupied the east of the Darkwada estuary, while the Crescent Sun Palace occupied the west. The Myriad Spirit sect's territory was on a small island outside the Darkwada estuary. It was only 3 or 4 kilometers away from the shore. The 3 parts were not far from each other. The entire Three River Market was defended by a defensive formation. The defensive formation of the Three River Market had a lot to do with the Wang clan. It was an improved version of the Wang clan's Myriad Water Origin Formation. The Myriad Water Origin Formation was not unique to the Wang clan. It was also obtained from the Zhao clan. The formation masters of the 3 major sects had upgraded the Myriad Water Origin Formation to mid-grade level 4, increasing its power. However, the improvement was not very good. This formation was now called the Three Water Combined Formation. In fact, it was no different from the Myriad Water Origin Formation in all aspects. It was just that its power was increased by about 20%. The spiritual power required to operate the formation had increased by more than 50%. This improvement was a failure. There were only a few places in the entire state of Zhao that could support the Three Water Combined Formation. Only the Three River Market, where 3 level 4 water spirit veins intersected, could support the Three Water Combined Formation with abundant spiritual power. To be able to solve the problem of spiritual energy consumption, the power of the array was quite good. The Three Water Confluence Formation was both offensive and defensive. If one couldn't withstand its attacks, they wouldn't be able to get close to the defensive light barrier, let alone find a flaw in it. The Zhao family's legacy of formations was naturally much more profound than the 3 major sects. It would not be like the 3 major sects' situation in the past, where many gold core cultivators were unable to take down the Jade Spring Peak. As long as he could suppress the offensive means of the formation, breaking the formation would not be difficult. The 3 sects were not fools. Once the Wanchuan market was captured, Wuqing Pass would not be able to get enough logistical resources, and its collapse would be imminent. At that time, The three sects would have to face the Song Nation and the Zhao clan at the same time. If they wanted to hold on, they would have to mobilize all their golden core cultivators to fight the enemy. If there were no golden core cultivators guarding the Hanjiang Pass, it would not be able to stop the Wei nation at all. At that time, there would be a war between the four powers in the state of Zhao. No matter how capable the three great sects were, they would not be able to withstand it. The three major sects couldn't afford the price of losing Wanchuan market. As soon as the long-legged prince's forces set off from the Wanchuan market, the three major sects took action and forcibly gathered 12 golden core cultivators. Among them, the Netherworld sect sent 2 mid-stage golden core cultivators and 1 mid-grade and upper-grade level 4 refined corpse. The Cruel Sun Palace sent 2 late-stage golden core cultivators, while the Hanjiang Pass had to send at least 1 golden core cultivator. The Cruel Sun Palace was the weakest and could only send 2 late-stage golden core cultivators. The Thousand Spirit sect was still wealthy and sent 2 late-stage golden core cultivators, 1 mid-stage golden core cultivator, and 3 spirit beasts of the same level as their master. These people and spirit beasts had never shown their faces before. When the news came, Wang Daoyuan was also shocked. The 3 major sects were still very rich. If they really took out all their assets, the weakest Cruel Sun Palace would probably have more than 10 golden core cultivators. When the long-legged prince's subordinates arrived at the Three River Market, the 3 water fusion array had already been activated. The golden core cultivators of the 3 great sects also didn't wait in the Three River Market. Instead, each of the 3 sects sent a golden core cultivator, a refined corpse, and a rank 4 spirit beast to wait outside the formation. However, they were less than 50 miles away from the array, which was also within the array's attack range. With the array as support, these 5 golden core cultivators were enough to withstand the attacks of 10 golden core cultivators. The flying warships of the Zhao family were all stationed 100 miles east of the Three River Market. As for the flying ships carrying the scapegoats, they were all 200 miles away. The 5 golden core cultivators of the 3 sects waited outside the array, not daring to approach. 3 golden core cultivators walked out of the 2 leading flying warships. One of them wore an aqua blue python robe and smiled. "Brother Lingjiang, Gu Daoyu, let's test the strength of these traitors of the 3 sects together." Gu Qingfeng added, "I've had this intention for a long time. When I fought with that junior Wang Daoyuan last time, I could only gain the upper hand, but couldn't win quickly. I just don't know if the golden core cultivators to the west of the sky/mountain range are all so difficult to deal with." Zhao Lingjiang's hair was white, and he shouldn't be young anymore. He wore an aqua blue robe. In terms of spirit power fluctuations, he was slightly stronger than Lord Waterfront and Gu Qingfeng. The 3 of them left the flying warship and attacked the cultivators of the 3 sects outside the array. The Underworld sect cultivator brought an upper-grade level 4 black bear refined corpse to meet Gu Qingfeng. The other 2 were from the Zhao family and knew the Gui Water Divine Lightning, which countered the Underworld sect cultivators. The Thousand Spirit sect late-stage golden core cultivator brought his golden condor to meet Zhao Lingjiang. The last golden core cultivator of the Cruel Sun Palace faced Lord Waterfront. The 3 from the Zhao family weren't fools. As soon as the battle started, Zhao Lingjiang condensed a Gui Water Divine Lightning and smashed it at the black bear refined corpse. Seeing this, the Cruel Sun Palace cultivator slashed at Zhao Lingjiang with a huge earthen yellow sword. Gu Qingfeng took out his bone halberd and met the huge sword cultivator head-on. Lord Waterfront also relied on the power of his own Gui Water Divine Lightning to fight the Thousand Spirit sect cultivator and the golden condor. The Gui Water Divine Lightning was powerful, but the Thousand Spirit sect was fighting 2 against 1, so the 2 sides could fight to a draw. Zhao Lingjiang was completely trampled on by the Underworld sect cultivator. The Underworld sect cultivator was only at the middle stage of the Golden Core realm. His refined corpse was at the upper grade level 4, but it was far weaker than the refined corpses of the 10,000 corpse Taoist. In addition, the Gui Water Divine Lightning carried the power of thunder. Even if 1 person and 1 corpse used all their methods, they could only passively take a beating. Gu Qingfeng and the huge sword cultivator were both of the earth attribute and walked the path of body refinement. But Gu Qingfeng's cultivation was higher, and he suppressed the huge sword cultivator. As he fought, he said, "No wonder they say the Wang family's inheritance is the nemesis of the cruel Sun Palace. They are much weaker than Wang Daoyuan, and even my grandnephew Gu Chongqing is inferior." He also knew about the conflict between the Wang family and the cruel Sun Palace, so he deliberately provoked the huge sword cultivator with these words. How could the huge sword cultivator tolerate being said that he was inferior to the Wang family in front of the cruel Sun Palace cultivator? The image of a brown bear appeared on his body, and his spirit power increased greatly. Gu Qingfeng smiled contemptuously, and the image of the yellow maned Kirin appeared on his body. Although the yellow maned Kirin was only a half-divine beast, its aura was very close to Kirin. Kirin was the king of all beasts. When the yellow maned Kirin appeared, the giant bear image's aura weakened greatly. Gu Qingfeng swung his halberd towards the huge sword cultivator. The huge sword cultivator didn't back down and swung his sword to meet it. The halberd swept the huge sword cultivator, and the huge sword cultivator was sent flying with his sword, crashing into the light shield of the defensive formation. His body was strong, and he didn't suffer any serious injuries. But his hands holding the huge sword trembled slightly, and his blood surged. Gu Qingfeng mocked. "This is a normal middle-stage golden core realm cultivator, not like that junior Wang Daoyuan. He's only at the middle stage of the golden core realm, but he can still fight with me in terms of physical strength." The huge sword cultivator was originally fine, but when he heard this, his face turned red and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Chapter 601. Gu Qingfeng didn't expect that mentioning the Wang family would be so effective in front of the cruel Sun Palace. However, since the giant sword cultivator was injured, he naturally had to follow up his victory. The battle was about to begin. If he could kill a mid-stage golden core cultivator, he would weaken his opponent's strength. He held his heavenly halberd and prepared to follow up. At this moment, a water sword flew out from the defensive light barrier and went straight for his throat. He knew the power of the myriad water origin formation. This three-water combined formation was even stronger and couldn't be underestimated. He waved his heavenly halberd and shattered the water sword. Then, he hurriedly retreated 100 miles east of the Three-River Market. He wasn't from the Zhao family, and didn't have to risk his life for them. Lord Waterfront and Zhao Lingjiang were also attacked by the formation. Lord Waterfront could only fight to a draw with the man and the eagle from the Myriad Spirit sect. Now that the formation was attacking, he might be defeated if the stalemate continued. He naturally didn't dare to continue fighting. After shooting out 2 bolts of Gui Water Divine Lightning and repelling the man and the eagle, he also retreated. Zhao Lingjiang had been suppressing the underworld sect cultivator. The man and the corpse didn't dare to face him directly and stayed near the formation's defensive light barrier. Once the Gui Water Divine Lightning attacked, they would think of a way to make it hit the defensive light barrier. Even so, they were affected by the aftershocks of the explosion and suffered heavy injuries. After the formation started attacking, Zhao Lingjiang was also the focus of attention. It wasn't a water sword that flew towards him, but a water python. The power of this attack was already stronger than the full-strength attack of a late-stage golden core cultivator. Zhao Lingjiang's face was full of disdain. He took out a blue sword with dragon patterns. He held the sword with both hands. Water spirit energy surged on the sword, carrying the power of thunder. A blue water dragon appeared on his body. With a dragon roar, he swung the sword. An aqua-blue sword radiance flew out, and within the sword radiance there was lightning. Seeing this sword light, the underworld sect cultivator trembled with fear. He subconsciously summoned a pitch-black shield to block the attack, and retreated to the right. The black bear corpse also showed fear. Instead of blocking this attack, it retreated to the side. This situation would only happen when the master couldn't fully control the corpse. Rank 4 refined corpses already had some intelligence. Although it wasn't high, it still knew how to hide when faced with a huge threat. The blue sword ray was as swift and violent as lightning. In just a moment, the water python was cut into pieces. The cultivator from the underworld sect used his black shield to block the attack. As a result, the mid-grade level 4 black shield was cut in half like tofu. He was also sent flying by the sword light. After falling to the ground, he spat out a few mouthfuls of blood and fainted. A large gash had also appeared on the soft armor he was wearing. The black bear refined corpse didn't manage to escape either, and one of its paws was chopped off. After the myriad spirit sex cultivators dissolved Lord Waterfront's blooming water divine thunder, they attacked Zhao Lingjiang. At this moment, 3 water pythons formed from the formation and pounced on him. Naturally, Zhao Lingjiang wasn't stupid. With a flash of blue lightning he disappeared. A moment later, he appeared beside Lord Waterfront. Waterfront King looked at him in surprise. Brother Lingjiang, you've mastered the blooming water thunder sword? The heavens are really protecting my Zhao clan. There are actually 4 people who can master the clan's most powerful technique. Zhao Lingjiang waved his hand. It's just a beginner. I'm far inferior to Uncle His Majesty and His Highness the 9th Prince. If Uncle was here, this sword would probably be able to kill the underworld sex traitor, along with the black bear refined corpse. I can only use the simplest move. Its destructive power isn't enough. This blooming water thunder sword was the Zhao clan's most powerful technique. After the Zhao clan's ancestor obtained the blooming water divine thunder, he felt that it was still very lacking. Although it was extremely fast, its power was still far inferior to those large-scale techniques that needed to be stored up. Thus, he fused the true meaning of the blooming water divine thunder into sword cultivation techniques and created the blooming water thunder sword. After dozens of generations of continuous improvement, the speed of the blooming water thunder sword was only slightly inferior to the blooming water divine thunder. However, its power was far superior. However, the difficulty of cultivating this blooming water thunder sword was extremely high. It required one to cultivate the blooming water divine thunder to perfection. One also needed to have extremely high attainments in sword cultivation to be able to master it. Only a few people in each generation of the Zhao clan could master it. Now that the Zhao clan had fallen to such a state, there were still 4 people who could master it. It could be considered very difficult. Gu Qingfeng was too lazy to listen to their bragging. No matter how powerful the Zhao clan's inheritance was, didn't it still fall to such a state? He opened his mouth and asked, Dao Yu too, what do you plan to do with this formation? In the past, the myriad water origin formation blocked the siege of several golden core cultivators. This 3 water fusion formation is even more powerful. Just the 3 of us are far from enough. From the root, this formation is also your Zhao clan's inheritance. How should we deal with it? Come up with a plan, Lin Haiwang said with a smile. 3 River Market isn't something that can be taken down in a short time. Let's find a place to settle down first. The 2 didn't have any objections, and led the cultivators to withdraw to the east. The 3 great sects had scorched the earth and cleared the fields, leaving behind many empty spirit mountains. The Zhao clan's forces first settled down on a few spirit mountains 500 to 600 li east of the 3 River Market. The 3 golden core cultivators came to a small mountain called Jiang Yafeng. This used to be the Vermilion Spirit Mountain of a Foundation Establishment clan. Now the clansmen of this clan had been pulled into the 3 River Market. The 3 of them were in the clan's ancestral hall. Lin Haiwang said, The traders of the 3 sects have placed several golden core cultivators in the 3 River Market. Even if we attack with all our strength, it'll be very difficult to break through. Attacking the 3 River Market is using resources to compete with the 3 4th grade water spirit veins. No matter how many resources we have, we won't be able to afford it. This 3 water fusion formation has a very big flaw, which is that it consumes too much spiritual power. As long as we work on the spirit veins and make them temporarily lose their effectiveness, the formation will break by itself. Gu Qingfeng shook his head and said, I can't do anything to the spirit veins. If you have a way, just say it. Don't keep me in suspense. Zhao Lingjiang asked, Are you talking about our Zhao clan's seal of mountains and rivers? The seal of mountains and rivers was the magic tool of the founding monarch of the Zhao clan. Later on, it became the imperial jade seal passed down from generation to generation in the state of Zhao. It was also the symbol of the Zhao emperor's authority. Lin Haiwang nodded. That's right. When our ancestors established the state of Zhao, they took a wisp of the origin of all the fourth-grade spirit veins in the territory and merged it into the seal of mountains and rivers. The three water spirit veins in the three-river market are naturally no exception. The spirit veins whose origin has been merged with the seal of mountains and rivers will be affected by it. As long as His Majesty brings the seal of mountains and rivers to the three-river market, we'll attack the three-river market. As long as the traders of the three sects open the formation, His Majesty will activate the seal of mountains and rivers to suppress one of the spirit veins. The entire three-water fusion formation's foundation is built on the three spirit veins. Although this can increase the supply of spiritual power, as long as one spirit vein has a problem, it'll cause the entire formation's spiritual power to circulate erratically. Those are 3 fourth-grade spirit veins. Once there's a problem, even if the formation core doesn't collapse, it'll be greatly damaged and won't be able to recover in a short time. At that time, 10 or so golden core cultivators will attack together. How can we not take down the three-river market? Zhao Lingjiang nodded. It's indeed a good plan. However, His Majesty values the seal of mountains and rivers very much and won't easily show it to others. If he doesn't agree, what will we do? Lin Haiwang played it down. Then we'll withdraw our troops and return to Linhai province. The three laughed. Withdrawing their troops and returning to Linhai province wasn't a big deal. Lin Haiwang was still the hereditary Lin Haiwang. Zhao Lingjiang was still the fourth-ranked expert of the Zhao clan. And the Gu clan was still a powerful clan that could contend with Lin Haiwang. Only His Majesty was no longer His Majesty. This time, the 13 Linhai clans had all taken action. It could be said that they were doing their best to help the sixth prince restore the state of Zhao. If he wasn't willing to take out the seal of mountains and rivers at this critical moment, causing him to fail on the verge of success, who would take him seriously in the future? Lin Haiwang had his own fief. Generations of Lin Haiwang had managed it for nearly 10,000 years. His family was sufficiently rich and could afford to lose. The sixth prince could only rely on the support of the Zhao clansmen he'd brought with him. If this support was gone, he'd be nothing more than a downtrodden prince living under someone else's roof. Chapter 602. Lord Waterfront and Zhao Lingjiang each sent a message to the sixth prince, reporting the situation at the three-river market as well as their decision. This time, the sixth prince didn't act rashly. The next day after receiving the news, the sixth prince set off from the Wanchuan market, heading towards the three-river market along the Wanchuan River. However, this fellow didn't forget to put on a show. He rode on a mid-grade fourth-grade flying warship, and the ones controlling the warship were all Zifu disciples. The flying warship was painted aqua blue, and it was decorated with dragon inscriptions. On the side of the warship, there was an aqua blue dragon flag. What made people speechless was that this flying warship actually had an enormous, luxurious cabin. The flying warship was used to fight enemies, so the cabin was small and sturdy. Such a large cabin would not only affect the flying warship's agility and increase the consumption of spirit stones, it would also lower the defensive power of the entire warship. This flying warship was the only one left of the Zhao clan, but it had been tormented to such an extent. For the sake of showing off, they had sacrificed a Jindan warrior. His flying warship arrived at Jiang Yafeng. Seeing this, Gu Qingfeng shook his head, thinking to himself, Wang Daoyuan, that junior was right. This long-legged prince really isn't cut out for this. When life and death are at stake, he still has the time to play this game. I've bet on the wrong person. I hope that all of my clansmen can return in one piece. The sixth prince was still putting on quite a show. The flying warship stopped in the air above Jiang Yafeng, waiting for the three to pay their respects. Lord Waterfront and the other two flew onto the warship and entered the palace-like cabin, bowing to the sixth prince. Greetings, Your Majesty. The sixth prince sat high on the dragon throne and said calmly, Rise. Lord Waterfront cupped his hands and said, Your Majesty, the traders of the three sects have set up the three-river fusion formation at the three-river market. They are borrowing the power of the three fourth-grade spiritual veins to block the Imperial Army. Your Majesty, please use the seal of mountains and rivers to suppress the spiritual veins and break the formation. We will then charge into the three-river market and clean up the traders. The Jindan warriors that the three sects left behind in the Zhao Empire have mostly gathered here. As long as we break through the three-river market, the destruction of the three sects will be just around the corner. The sixth prince said softly, "Permit it." The three of them revealed looks of joy. Lord Waterfront Sea said, "I will gather all the golden core cultivators and strive to break through three-river market in one battle." Following which, the three of them exited the flying warship and prepared to attack the three-river market. Half a month later, another 10 golden core cultivators arrived. Among the 10 people, 3 of them were cultivators of the Zhao clan. All of them had white hair and looked like they were nearing the end of their lifespans. After the 10 of them arrived, Lord Waterfront led them to a place 100 li east of the three-river market. On the side of the three sects, there were also 5 humans, 2 demons and 2 refined corpses. The cultivator from the underworld school, who was severely injured by Zhao Lingjiang's sword, did not participate in the battle. Instead, Lien, who had one of his bare paws cut off, participated in the battle. His severed bare paw had been reattached. As long as the corpse core wasn't damaged and the body was relatively intact, they wouldn't die. Thus, it wasn't a problem for them to sustain some injuries. The Zhao family relied on their numbers and didn't play any strategy. They directly charged into the area covered by the formation. Although the three-water confluence formation was brilliant, it couldn't withstand the strength of the Zhao family. The cultivators of Waterfront Prefecture, recruited by the Zhao family, could only barely contend with the golden core cultivators of the three sects under the pressure of the formation. There were also a few who were directly ignored by the three sects and suppressed by the formation. However, the strength of the 5 golden core cultivators of the Zhao family was relatively terrifying. The weakest, Lord Waterfront, could also withstand the attacks of the formation and suppress the late-stage golden core cultivators of the Myriad Spirit sect. The 3 new Zhao family experts were suppressing the Myriad Spirit sect's demon beasts. The strongest, Zhao Lingjiang, could withstand the attacks of the formation previously and severely injure 2 golden core cultivators with a single sword strike. Needless to say, he could do the same now. He was dealing with an Earth attribute body tempering cultivator of the Cruel Sun Palace, who had a shield as his natal dermic artifact. This guy didn't fight back and was here to take a beating. He would hold on for as long as he could. Although the 13 people of the Zhao family had the upper hand, they didn't have any hope of winning in a short period of time. Furthermore, the main force of the three sects wasn't the 9 golden core cultivators, but the formation. The spirit energy of the formation was endless. If they continued to fight, it would be disadvantageous for the Zhao family. At this moment, a gorgeous flying warship flew over from the east. The warship stopped when it was 100 miles east of the three-river market square. Then, a 9-inch square white jade seal flew out from the warship. The jade seal flew above the three-river market and rapidly expanded, emitting a jade-colored light. The 3 Tier 4 water veins in the area trembled slightly. The foundation of the formation built on the water veins naturally became unstable. The formation immediately summoned several water pythons to attack the jade seal. Unfortunately, the water pythons directly turned into water splashes under the jade-colored light. Soon the jade seal grew to 100 feet square. It was a magic artifact that was only a step away from low-grade Tier 5. The power it emitted was comparable to the full-strength attack of a half-step Yuanian cultivator. A late-stage golden core cultivator, without a minor divine ability, would find it difficult to withstand the attack of the seal of mountains and rivers. If the 6th prince hadn't escaped with the seal of mountains and rivers, the 9th prince might have been able to use it to quell the rebellion of the 3 sections. The full power of the seal of mountains and rivers was released, and the Darkwater River's spirit veins began to tremble. A late-stage golden core cultivator of the Myriad Spirit sect shouted, Close the formation immediately. Before he finished speaking, the spirit energy of the Darkwater River stopped supplying the formation. With a gotcha sound, the Three River Market's defensive light barrier shattered with a loud bang. They had been suppressed by the formation before. Now that the formation was broken, the three sects had no power to resist at all. The 9 golden core cultivators of the three sects immediately retreated, distancing themselves from the Zhao cultivators. The 13 Zhao cultivators chased after them, wanting to take down the Three River Market in one fell swoop. There were large amounts of resources stored here. If they took down this place, the cultivators of the three sects at the Wuqing Pass would have nothing to eat. At this moment, 6 flying warships flew out of the Three River Market. There were also 4 late-stage golden core cultivators, 2 high-grade Tier 4 refined corpses, and 4 high-grade Tier 4 spirit beasts. These refined corpses were probably quite old, but they didn't have a lifespan limit, so it was hard to tell. The 4 spirit beasts, on the other hand, all looked lethargic and didn't have much lifespan left. The 3 of them were the sect masters of the 3 sections. Even Luo Juya was a late-stage golden core cultivator, and had hidden his strength well. These refined corpses and demon beasts were the last resort of the Myriad Spirit sect, and the Underworld sect. The palace master of the Cruel Sun Palace had only brought a late-stage golden core cultivator with graying temples. There were no refined corpses or powerful spirit beasts, but no one dared to underestimate him. There was a reason why the Cruel Sun Palace could stand side by side with the Underworld sect and the Myriad Spirit sect, and was the leader of the 3 sects hundreds of years ago. This time, the 3 sects should have brought out all their assets. After the 4 of them came out, the situation of the battlefield immediately reversed. There were 25 golden core cultivators on the 3 sects side, as well as the Underworld sect cultivator, who had been severely injured by Zhao Lingjiang last time. As for the 6th prince, including himself and the flying warship, there were only 15 golden core cultivators under his command. Even if the cultivators of the Zhao family were strong and could fight 1-on-2, they only had 21 golden core cultivators. The flying warship had been modified to be neither fish nor fowl, so it couldn't unleash much combat power. Although the 3 sects had been fighting among themselves for hundreds of years, they could still unite against the Zhao family. After all, if they lost, they would be completely wiped out. On the 6th prince's side, the cultivators of the Zhao family might still be able to fight to the death. The other 9 cultivators of Linhai State might not necessarily have the heart to fight to the death. Now that the situation had reversed, they were already thinking of retreating. The 6th prince immediately withdrew the Mountain River seal. No one knew what he was thinking. The cultivator of the Cruel Sun Palace shouted, "To catch bandits, first catch the leader. Take down the long-legged prince first. This old guy is good at running away. We couldn't catch him 500 years ago, so we can't let him escape this time." Hearing the name of the long-legged prince, the cultivators of the 3 sects all smiled. Even Gu Qingfeng and the other cultivators of Linhai State couldn't help but laugh. Wang Deyuan's nickname was so popular that the whole of Beiyuan Xiuxian knew. He was the long-legged prince. He couldn't fight the enemy, but he could run away. In the warship, the 6th prince's face was full of anger. He gritted his teeth and growled, "Wang Daoyuan, I will cut you into pieces sooner or later, and not leave a single member of the Wang family alive." Chapter 603. The scapegoats captured by the Zhao family were also forced to attack and fight against the cultivators of the 3 sections. However, they were not in the mood to fight. The key to victory was the battle strength of a golden core cultivator. It was meaningless for them to fight to the death, so they might as well save their own lives. At this time, 2 4th-grade flying warships and 2 late-stage golden core cultivators of the Myriad Spirit sect surrounded the 6th prince's carriage. The Zhao family wanted to stop them, but they were held back by the cultivators of the 3 sections. In particular, the late-stage golden core cultivator, who came with the Cruel Sun Palace's palace master, could match Zhao Lingjiang in a 1-on-1 battle. No wonder the Cruel Sun Palace was the leader of the 3 great sects in the past. The flying warships and cultivators of the 3 great sects were already 5 kilometers away from the sixth prince's carriage. The sixth prince's strength was not bad. He was known for his talent in cultivation back then, so his fighting strength should not be bad. However, facing 2 cultivators of the same level and 2 4th-grade mid-grade flying warships at the same time was not something that could be achieved with just a little bit of fighting strength. Previously, Zhao Lingjiang relied on his sect's inheritance to suppress the underworld sect. That was why he was able to withstand the attack of the formation and severely injure the underworld sect's mid-stage golden core cultivator and the refined corpse of the same level. Zhao Lingjiang was already one of the top cultivators of the same level. Even if the sixth prince was stronger than him, there was a limit to it. The myriad spirit sect cultivators were about to attack when a thunderous water-type spiritual energy fluctuation came from the sixth prince's carriage. Then, a water-blue figure flew out from the sixth prince's carriage. He waved his long sword, and a water-blue sword ray slashed at the flying warship and the 2 golden core cultivators of the myriad spirit sect. The sword ray came from the north to the south. The flying warship closer to the north was cut in half, and none of the cultivators on the ship survived. The flying warship was very strong and had a defensive formation. It was much harder to damage a flying warship than to kill a cultivator of the same level. Even so, the 4th-grade mid-grade flying warship was unable to withstand the sword ray. However, the flying warship also consumed the sword ray's power and bought some time for the others. The 2 myriad spirit sect cultivators hurriedly used their escape techniques and successfully escaped. The other flying warship at the southernmost point was the furthest away and easily dodged the attack. Although the blue figure shouted out, "I am Minister of Zhao Jinghua. Anyone who dares to offend me will be killed without mercy." Hearing this, the cultivators of the Zhao clan were very excited, while the others were confused. Zhao Jinghua looked to be in his 30s, and he didn't have any rotten aura on him. He shouldn't be too old. Zhao Lingjiang smiled and said, "So little uncle is here. Then there's no need to be afraid." The palace master of the cruel Sun Palace laughed. "I was wondering who it was. So it's the son of the last official of the state of Zhao. Your father is indeed powerful. His strength is second only to Zhao Lai Emperor. Back then, when you were just a Zifu disciple, you fled the capital with a group of juniors of the Zhao clan. I didn't think much of it, and only sent a few Zifu disciples to chase after you. I didn't expect you to become a spirit after 500 years. Today, I will make up for the mistakes I made in the past." After saying that, he took out a long sword. This long sword was golden in color and was of the fire attribute. The spine of the sword was made from the bones of some kind of spirit beast, while the rest of the sword was made from some kind of transparent golden spirit material. Luo Juyo looked at the sword and smiled. "Old geezer Gold Sun, you're really generous. You even took out the cruel sun sword." Hearing that it was the cruel sun sword, everyone was shocked. The cruel sun sword was the personal weapon of the founder of the Cruel Sun Palace, Reverend Cruel Sunday. It was said that it was made from a piece of bone of the golden crow. As such, the cruel sun sword could release a trace of the power of the sun's true fire. Of course, no one believed this. They all believed that the bone of the cruel sun sword belonged to some kind of demon beast with the bloodline of the golden crow. Before Reverend Cruel Sun died, he shattered his golden core and fused it with the cruel sun sword. He also used a secret technique to fuse all of the cruel sun sword's runes with the golden crow's bone. As such, the juniors could refine the cruel sun sword for their own use and release the power of the cruel sun sword. The cruel sun sword was second only to the seal of mountains and rivers in the state of Zhao. In addition, the higher-ups of the Cruel Sun Palace were very strong in battle. With the cruel sun sword, Reverend Cruel Sun might not be weaker than Zhao Jinghua. He flew toward the sixth prince's carriage with the sword in hand, golden light swirling around his body. A moment later, golden flames ignited on the longsword. He swung the longsword with force, and a giant sword made of golden flames appeared out of thin air, slashing toward the sixth prince's carriage. The sixth prince's carriage had already activated its defensive array and started to dodge. Zhao Jinghua put away the longsword in his hand and held it with both hands. Then a blue longsword appeared out of thin air. There was a blue true dragon swimming on the longsword, faintly emitting the power of lightning. This was the man and sword as one. He didn't use the longsword, but directly used a sword cultivation spell. He loosened his hands and pointed at the golden flame sword in the air. The two swords clashed, and were in a stalemate for a moment. The blue longsword shattered, and the flame sword didn't have much power left. Reverend Cruel's son had the upper hand in this move. The remaining power of the flame sword slashed toward the sixth prince's carriage. The sixth prince's carriage had a large cabin, so it was inconvenient to dodge, and couldn't avoid the attack. The somewhat dim flame sword slashed the warship, breaking the defensive array. The flame sword's power was exhausted, and it turned into golden flames that scattered on the warship. The magnificent cabin also burned. Zhao Jingwa cupped his hands and said, "I was incompetent and couldn't wipe out the rebels, causing your majesty's carriage to be damaged." An emotionless voice sounded, "It's fine." Then, a water dragon flew out of the cabin and stopped in midair. The water dragon dispersed, and a middle-aged cultivator wearing a blue dragon robe with a long sword at his waist appeared. This person had a long beard and a dignified appearance, but there was a sinister look on his face. This was the sixth prince, but the 12 crowns on his head had been replaced by a white jade crown with dragon patterns. He held the seal of mountains and rivers in his right hand, and pressed the hilt of his sword with both hands. He said loudly, "Cultivators of the three sects, those who surrender will be let bygones be bygones, and those who betray will be rewarded land." The cultivators of the three sects looked disdainful. Master Jinyang asked, "Old Ghost Xianming, are you going to kill this long-legged prince or should I?" The myriad spirit sects sect master smiled. "You deal with Zhao Jingwa, and the Zhao family's inheritance restrains the Netherworld sect, so I can only do it." Then, his right hand stroked the yin and yang ring on his left hand, and a giant turtle more than 300 meters long appeared in front of him. This turtle was jet black, and it emitted a strong water spiritual energy and pure yin qi. Master Jinyang smiled. "I've always been curious. You raised a dragon bastard with a bad bloodline, but why is it called Master Xianming? It turns out that you were hiding a netherwater black turtle. With this guy, Daoyu will surpass Master Yulong soon." The netherwater black turtle was also a half-divine beast, so its bloodline couldn't be too low. When breaking through to the 4th rank, there would definitely be a bloodline heavenly tribulation. In this way, it would definitely have a minor divine ability. A half-divine beast with a minor divine ability would rarely be a match for a human cultivator of the same rank who had comprehended a minor divine ability. Even Wang Daoyuan wasn't confident in taking down the netherwater black turtle without using all his trump cards. However, this netherwater black turtle was only of the 4th rank. Otherwise, the Zhao family cultivators wouldn't have to fight. The 6th prince could also use his family's unique skill and escape to Linhai Prefecture. Even if it was of the 4th rank, with the strength of the turtle shell, late-stage golden core cultivators would find it difficult to hurt him. Moreover, this was the Three River Market. The place where the 3 rivers intersected was the home ground of the netherwater black turtle. The 6th prince's spiritual energy surged as he threw out the seal of mountains and rivers, and injected all his spiritual energy into it. A moment later, the seal of mountains and rivers grew to 300 meters square. He controlled the seal of mountains and rivers, and smashed it at the netherwater black turtle. Master Xuanming's expression was indifferent, while the netherwater black turtle let out a low roar, as if it was panting. Then, the river water within 100 miles seemed to boil and gathered toward the netherwater black turtle. 300 meters above him, a 3,000-meter-long black turtle phantom formed. Master Xianming also injected spiritual energy into the black turtle phantom to help the netherwater black turtle block the attack. Chapter 604. The seal of mountains and rivers could affect the spirit veins in the state of Zhao. Naturally, it could also use a small amount of the spirit veins' power. However, the 3 spirit veins nearby were all water spirit veins. After all, the netherwater black turtle's minor water control ability came from the divine beast black tortoise, which was the divine beast with the strongest water control ability. In the fight for the spirit vein, the seal of mountains and rivers was at a disadvantage. The seal of mountains and rivers landed on the back of the black tortoise. Both of them had borrowed some of the water spirit vein's power. The area within a radius of several hundred miles started to tremble, and huge waves started to roll up on the Wanchuan River. After 3 breaths of time, the spiritual energy of the seal of mountains and rivers was finally exhausted, and the black tortoise's phantom also collapsed. The underworld water black tortoise was slightly affected, but with its powerful physical strength, this injury was negligible. In this confrontation, the 6th prince had a slight advantage, but his expression was not good. Although the cultivators of the Zhao family were strong, they had too few people. He only had a slight advantage against Daoist Profound Ming. Zhao Jingguo was at a disadvantage against Daoist Gold Sunday Zhao Lingjiang, could only fight to a draw against the shield-wielding late-stage Golden Core cultivator from the Crescent Sun Palace. The strongest few of them were all held back. If this continued, there would be no hope of victory. Just as he had the thought of running away, Zhao Jingguo transmitted his voice. "Your Majesty, don't worry. The traitor Jin Yang can only temporarily suppress me by borrowing the power of the cruel sun sword. However, using this kind of magic tool consumed a lot of his spiritual energy and divine sense, so he couldn't hold on for long. The underworld water black tortoise's defense is adequate, but its attack is insufficient. Don't use the seal of mountains and rivers for now. Save your strength and look for an opportunity to attack." He told Gu Chengfeng to hold back the shield-wielding cultivator from the cruel Sun Palace, while the other cultivators from the waterfront state held back the cultivators from the Myriad Spirit Sect and the cruel Sun Palace. Ling Jiang, Ling Hai, and the others freed up their hands to kill the underworld sect cultivators as soon as possible. There were only 2 golden core cultivators from the underworld sect here. As long as they were all killed, there would be no one to control these refined corpses. All of a sudden, the enemy has lost 6 gold core cultivators, and our chance of victory has arrived. Hearing this, the 6th prince was somewhat moved. This time he didn't want to run away again. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to shake off the title of long-legged prince. Moreover, the cultivators of the 3 sects would not let him leave so easily. Once he retreated, there would be no one left to protect him. At that time, under the encirclement of the cultivators of the 3 sects, the chances of him leaving alive would be next to none. Even if he managed to return, there would be no chance for him to restore his country. He could only live under someone else's roof. Since he still had a chance to win, he naturally had to give it a try. He put away the mountain and river seal and brought out a black dragon-patterned longsword. He sent a message to the other cultivators and began to use the blooming water thunder sword. Seeing him change his move, Daoist Master Xianming also took out a long sword and nervously faced him. His sword slashed out. It was not aimed at the Darkwater Black Turtle or Daoist Master Xianming. Instead, it was aimed at the other 2 spiritual beasts of the Myriad Spirit Sect. One of them was a mid-grade 4th-grade golden-scaled drake, while the other was a golden condor that had fought with Lord Waterfront before. As the sword light flew over, a golden light flashed on the golden condor's body. In an instant, the golden condor flew up 1,000 feet and dodged the attack. The gold-plated drake wasn't so lucky. Its body was heavy and cumbersome, so it couldn't dodge in time. Moreover, it was a spirit beast with extremely thin dragon blood. When it broke through to the 4th rank, it did not undergo a bloodline heavenly tribulation, so naturally, it did not have any minor abilities. Its combat strength was not much stronger than an ordinary mid-stage golden core cultivator. It mobilized all the spiritual energy in its body to resist the sword light. In the end, it was useless. Its body, which was more than 100 feet long, was cut in half by the sword light. Its demon core was also shattered. The auspicious clouds under its body dissipated, and its body fell into the river. Its blood dyed a large part of the river red. Daoist Master Xianming and the Darkwater Black Turtle were not very fast. They didn't have time to help at all. The other cultivators were also shocked and quickly pulled away from the 6th prince. The power of the Zhao family's blooming water thunder sword was too terrifying. At this moment, the Zhao family cultivators found an opportunity. Gu Qingfeng used an escape technique and summoned a sky full of yellow sand. Then he disappeared in an instant. When he reappeared, his halberd was swinging at the shield-wielding cultivator of the cruel Sun Palace. Zhao Lingjiang freed up his hand and used the blooming water thunder sword to slash at Luo Jiuyo. Lord Waterfront and the other 3 Zhao family cultivators also immediately attacked the mid-stage golden core cultivator of the Netherworld sect and a few refined corpses. The cultivators of the cruel Sun Palace and the myriad spirit sect came back to their senses and wanted to help. The 7 golden core cultivators of the waterfront state were already prepared. Powerful moves were smashed over, and they couldn't get away for a while. Taoist Master Jinyang wanted to help, but was also held back by Zhao Jinghua. The flying warships were not qualified to participate in this kind of battle. After all, without a golden core cultivator, their reaction speed and flexibility couldn't keep up. They could only help from the periphery. Luo Jiuyo was also a veteran golden core cultivator, and naturally had many life-saving methods in his hands. When Zhao Lingjiang's sword light slashed over, he immediately took out a shield and a sword to block it. When the sword light slashed over, the shield was broken into 2, and the longsword was seriously damaged. He was also implicated. However, he managed to block this move. At this moment, Lord Waterfront sent a blooming water divine thunder at Luo Jiuyo. A ghostly defensive light shield appeared on Luo Jiuyo's body, and he used the damaged longsword to block it. In the end, the defensive light shield was broken, and the sword was broken. Zhao Lingjiang also slashed out again, and went straight for Luo Jiuyo. Luo Jiuyo hurriedly controlled the refined corpse to block this sword. In the end, a 4th-grade high-grade refined corpse's head was split open by this sword, and even its corpse core was shattered. The remaining power of the sword light slashed onto Luo Jiuyo's body, causing him to be seriously injured. The other 3 Zhao family cultivators surrounded the mid-stage golden core cultivator of the underworld sect, and the result was self-evident. The mid-stage golden core cultivator was killed instantly, and the 4th-grade mid-grade refined corpse he controlled also went crazy after losing its master's control. The black bear refined corpse that went to block was also killed. In the blink of an eye, 3 of the 6 golden core cultivators of the underworld sect were dead, 1 injured and 1 out of control. Only 1 refined corpse was left with complete combat strength. Zhao Lingjiang wanted to follow up with another attack, but a late-stage golden core cultivator of the myriad spirit sect reacted and broke free from the Linhai cultivators to attack together with his spirit beast. Zhao Lingjiang could no longer pursue, and could only turn around to block. Luo Jiuyo used this opportunity to save his life. The 7 Linhai prefecture cultivators, who were defending against the 1,000 spirit sect cultivators, were prepared in advance. In the situation where they were outnumbered, they were able to display a decent combat strength. They stalled 9 golden core cultivators of the myriad spirit sect and the cruel Sun Palace, as well as 5 flying warships. However, one of them was killed, and another was severely injured. The 4 Zhao family cultivators were freed up. One of them dealt with the remaining refined corpses, while the other chased after Luo Jiuyo. Lord Linhai and another Zhao family cultivator went to block the myriad spirit sect cultivators. Perfected being Xianming and the Netherwater Black Turtle wanted to attack, but were blocked by the 6th prince. His nondescript flying warship was also harassing perfected being Xianming continuously to create opportunities for the 6th prince to attack. The entire battlefield was split into a few large groups. The 6th prince, Zhao Jinghua, Zhao Lingjiang and Gu Qingfeng were fighting their opponents far away from the Three River Market. 2 cultivators of the Zhao family were chasing after Luo Jiuyo and a refined corpse. There was also the largest group with 9 golden core cultivators and 5 flying warships that surrounded Lord Linhai's group of 8. Right then 2 figures flew out of the Three River Market. One of them was the underworld sect cultivator that was severely injured by Zhao Lingjiang earlier on. The other was dressed as a myriad spirit sect cultivator who had been controlling the formation earlier on, and did not reveal himself. Both of them were mid-stage golden core cultivators. The moment they appeared, they ambushed the Zhao family cultivator who was being surrounded. The two myriad spirit sect cultivators who participated in the encirclement also attacked him immediately. The Zhao family cultivator suffered 2 heavy blows after being ambushed and surrounded. A resolute expression appeared on his face, and the spirit energy fluctuations around his body disappeared. The expressions of the 4 cultivators who surrounded him changed drastically. He was about to self-destruct his golden core. Everyone immediately dispersed. However, he turned around and chased after the 2 cultivators who ambushed him. A moment later, a loud explosion sounded, and the Zhao family cultivator turned into a rain of blood. The aftermath of the explosion swept over 100 kilometers. The underworld sect cultivator, who was severely injured earlier, died on the spot. The myriad spirit sect cultivator, who was controlling the formation earlier, was also severely injured. Before he could react from his injuries, a Gui water divine lightning flew over. At that moment he could not resist at all, and was blown to pieces. Chapter 605. Naturally, it was Lord Waterfront who shot out this water divine lightning. Since his elder brother was forced to detonate his golden core, he naturally wouldn't let him die in vain, and took the opportunity to kill the heavily injured enemy. A late golden core cultivator in exchange for 2 hidden mid-golden core cultivators wasn't a loss. However, the situation on the battlefield had become even more passive. On the side of the 3 sects, 8 golden core cultivators and 5 flying warships were fighting against 7 Zhao family cultivators. These 8 golden core cultivators weren't very strong, but the flying warships were difficult to deal with. Not everyone had the ability to destroy the flying warships. On the side of the 7 Zhao family cultivators, apart from Lord Waterfront, the other 6 weren't very determined. At this point, they didn't have much hope of winning. These 6 plus Gu Qingfeng could escape at any time. If they couldn't change the situation as soon as possible, the Zhao family cultivators could only watch helplessly. The 2 Zhao family cultivators who were dealing with Luo Jiuyo and the refined corpses were furious when they saw their old brother detonate his golden core. They wanted nothing more than to tear Luo Jiuyo apart. Although Luo Jiuyo wasn't very strong, his disgusting ability wasn't weak at all. He would release a dense black fog from time to block spiritual sense, making it impossible to lock onto him with spiritual sense. He couldn't dodge the spells of cultivators above the Zifu realm, but that was only if he locked onto his opponent with spiritual sense. If his spiritual sense couldn't lock onto his opponent, he wouldn't even know where to cast his spells. The 2 were flustered and exasperated. They no longer cared about Luo Jiuyo, and desperately killed the last refined corpse. Then, they turned into 2 water dragons, and approached Lord Waterfront's battle group. They also wanted to launch a sneak attack. After turning into water dragons, they attacked the heavy sword cultivator of the Crescent Sun Palace. This cultivator with a heavy sword had fought with Gu Qingfeng before, and was even injured. Lord Waterfront knew their intentions, and also attacked him. A mid-golden core cultivator was surrounded by 3 late golden core cultivators with superior combat strength. Even Wang Daoyuan would have to run for his life in such a situation. Unfortunately, this heavy sword cultivator didn't have any escape techniques that could block spiritual sense, and couldn't dodge the water divine lightning. In the end, he was hit by 3 water divine lightning and died. Now there were some changes in the strength of this large battle group. 9 people from the Zhao clan against 2 people from the 3 sects, 5 spiritual beasts and 5 warships. Lord Linhai and the other 2 Zhao clan cultivators weren't weak at all. 1 against 2, they could still hold their own. From the looks of it, their strengths had been evened out instead. Taoist Master Xianming is somewhat anxious. He sends a voice transmission to Luo Jiuyo. Old geezer Luo, your netherworld sect's people are trash. Weren't you very capable when you fought with our 2 sects? Why was the Zhao family so useless today? 7 Jindan realm cultivators. You're the only one left. Your netherworld sect is good at playing dirty tricks. You can't deal with the Zhao family, but can't you deal with the cultivators of Linhai State? Luo Jiuyo felt embarrassed, but there was nothing he could do about it. The Zhao family had used thousands of years to thoroughly comprehend the blooming water divine thunder, and had integrated the might of the heavenly thunder into their own cultivation methods. Any of their spells could restrain the Netherworld sect, not to mention the blooming water divine thunder. Most importantly, the Zhao clan was targeting the Netherworld sect. Who could do anything about it? The Zhao clan was a 10,000-year-old imperial family. In terms of cultivation methods and magic inheritance, the three sects couldn't compare. Helpless, he could only go to the large battle group and use dirty tricks to attack the cultivators of Linhai State. Luo Jiuyo hid outside the battle group, using the flying warship to hide his figure. Then he took out a black banner. Under the urging of spiritual power, 2 streams of black stench appeared on the black banner. These 2 streams of black gas quickly turned into 2 black snakes, attacking a cultivator of Linhai State. This cultivator of Linhai State had been seriously injured before, and had barely held on until now. Before he could react, he was bitten by the 2 black snakes and instantly died. Now there were only 5 Jindan realm cultivators left in Linhai State. They were somewhat afraid. After all, they had participated in this battle because the 6th prince had made a huge promise. Now it seemed that they wouldn't be able to get any benefits, and might even lose their lives. Lord Linhai was also one of the 13 families of Linhai. Naturally, he knew what these people were thinking. He immediately took out a 4th grade mid-grade extreme cold mysterious ice talisman, and threw it at the only mid-stage Jindan realm cultivator. This person was a cultivator of the Cruel Sun Palace. He was also the only mid-stage Jindan realm cultivator of the 3 sects who was still alive. A 4th grade mid-grade extreme cold mysterious ice talisman was enough to severely injure, or even kill a mid-stage Jindan realm cultivator. However, against a late-stage Jindan realm cultivator, it could only severely injure him at most. Now they needed to kill someone to boost their morale, and prevent the cultivators of Linhai State from escaping. Naturally, they had to pick a soft persimmon. This cultivator of the Cruel Sun Palace was being suppressed by a mid-stage Jindan realm cultivator of the Zhao family. Suddenly, a ball of extremely cold qi flew over. He didn't have time to dodge, and was hit directly. He was frozen by the extremely cold qi, but his physical body was strong and he didn't die. However, the Zhao family wouldn't give him a chance to recover. 2 Gui water divine thunders flew over, shattering both the man and the ice. With each side losing 1 person and Luo Jiuyo's sneak attack, the 3 sects only had a small advantage. Now the cultivators of the 3 sects couldn't sit still. According to their intelligence, the Zhao family had left a mid-stage Jindan realm cultivator at Wanchuan Market. This person was Gu Chongqing. Wanchuan Market was their main base, and naturally had to be guarded by someone. Gu Chongqing's strength was considered top-notch among the mid-stage Jindan realm cultivators. It wasn't a problem for him to guard the rear. Other than that, if they really didn't care about the rear in Linhai State, they could still pull in a few early-stage Jindan realm cultivators. Usually this group of people wouldn't be of much help. However, at this stage, 1 more early-stage Jindan realm cultivator could decide the outcome of the battle. Of course, the 3 sects could also pull in early-stage Jindan realm cultivators. However, these people were all seeds. If they died here, the sects would have no future. Within 300 years, these people would all pass away. By then, there would be no more Jindan realm cultivators in the sect. Xianming Zhenren shouted, "Jinyang old man, don't tangle with Zhao Jingwa anymore. If this continues, you won't be his match. Pick the soft persimmon. While you still have enough spirit qi, kill everyone in Linhai State first. I'll help you deal with Zhao Jingwa first." Then, he controlled the underworld water black turtle to form a black tortoise shadow and attack the 6th prince. The underworld water black turtle's attack wasn't even as strong as a mid-stage Jindan realm cultivator, but it had no problem stalling the 6th prince at the intersection of the 3 rivers. Xianming Zhenren himself went to deal with Zhao Jingwa. As the master of a sect, he wasn't restrained by the Zhao family's inheritance. Stalling Zhao Jingwa for a while was no problem. After breaking away from Zhao Jingwa, Jinyang Zhenren's body burned with golden flames. A golden flame giant dozens of feet tall appeared out of thin air, holding a giant golden flame sword that was more than 100 feet long. This was a high-level body refining technique. Only after practicing it to an extremely high level would one be able to cultivate a Dharma idol. The giant sword slashed at the remaining 5 cultivators of Linhai state. 1 person from the myriad spirit sect, 5 spirit beasts, and 5 flying warships also attacked the 5 cultivators of Linhai state. This sword carried the power of the Wanyang sword and Jinyang Jinren's physical strength. Even if the 6th prince used the mountain river seal, it would be difficult for him to block it. Lord Linhai and the other 2 didn't dare to block it, and used escape techniques to escape. It was already very difficult for them to be surrounded by 6 Jindan realm cultivators and 5 flying warships. Now that there was this shocking attack, how could he possibly withstand it? Of the 5 cultivators of Linhai state, 2 of them had better escape techniques and escaped the encirclement. The remaining 3 were instantly killed by this sword. Gu Qingfeng and the other 2 cultivators of Linhai state didn't want to continue fighting. They used escape techniques and fled downstream along the Wanchuan River. With this sword, Jinyang Jinren had little spiritual power and divine sense left. He couldn't fight anymore. The cultivators of the 3 sects didn't stop him. They were already scared out of their wits and didn't dare to fight anymore. On the other hand, the Zhao family cultivators would be a disaster if they escaped. Zhao Jingwa shouted, "Your Majesty!" The 6th prince's face revealed a hint of determination. He took out a snow-white talisman that was 1 foot long and half a foot wide. It flickered with 4th-grade high-grade ice spiritual energy fluctuations. This was a blizzard-chilling talisman. This was a life-saving talisman that the 6th prince's daughter, Zhao Qingshuang, had asked for him. The cultivators of the 3 sects were naturally knowledgeable. When they saw this, their expressions changed. The future of the state of Zhao depended on how many people this snowstorm-chilling heavenly talisman could kill. Chapter 606. The 6th prince's spirit talisman was naturally thrown towards the place with the most enemies. Although the cultivators of Linhai Prefecture had either fled or died, there was still the Zhao clan left behind. Perfected Jinyang, Luo Jiuyo, 5 flying warships, and the myriad spirit sect cultivators' 5 spirit beasts were still there. After the spirit talisman detonated, everyone immediately used escape techniques to escape. The spirit talisman came from the northeast direction of the battle, so most of them naturally fled to the southwest. However, the 6th prince was more than 130 kilometers away from them. The cold air in the spirit talisman flew towards them, but by the time it turned into a spell, most of them would be able to escape. The Zhao clan's escape techniques were more advanced, so it wasn't a problem for Lord Linhai and the other 2 to escape. The 3 of them turned into blue true dragons and fled to the southwest in front of everyone. One of the Zhao clan members, who looked like he could die at any moment, turned around and looked at the cultivators of the 3 sects behind him. If they continued to escape, the blizzard-chilling heavenly talisman would be destroyed. He gradually slowed down and distanced himself from his 2 clan brothers. He didn't have long to live and fought hard, so there were many injuries on his body. Even if he escaped, he wouldn't be able to live for more than a few years. He retracted all his spirit energy into his golden core and prepared to detonate it. At this moment, Lord Linhai and the other Zhao clan cultivator had already flown more than 5 kilometers away and were still flying forward at an extremely fast speed. At this moment, detonating their golden cores would only cause them some minor injuries. The aftermath of the explosion could also allow them to distance themselves from the threat of the blizzard-chilling heavenly talisman. With a loud explosion, the Zhao clan member instantly turned into a rain of blood. The cultivators of the 3 sects behind them were in an awkward situation. There was a blizzard-chilling heavenly talisman that could explode at any moment, and a self-detonating golden core in front of them. The 2 spirit beasts immediately used escape techniques to increase their speed and change directions, flying to the southeast. Luo Jiuyo and the remaining myriad spirit sect cultivator burned their blood essence and true essence to follow behind the spirit beasts. The 3 spirit beasts also changed directions and fled with the spirit beasts. The 5 flying warships flew to the northwest. Perfected Jin Yang's spirit energy was already exhausted, and his escape techniques weren't too brilliant. There wasn't much hope for him to escape with them. He burned his essence blood, and used a secret technique to escape downwards. At the same time, he drew out a large amount of true essence from his golden core, and infused it into the cruel sun sword. Whether or not he could keep his life depended on whether or not this magic tool, that was close to the 5th level, was reliable. Soon, the shockwave from the explosion of the golden core hit the cultivators of the 3 sects, causing them to slow down. Right at this moment, the ball of cold air released by the blizzard-chilling heavenly talisman also spread out. Within a radius of 100 miles, everything was covered in snow. The reaction speed of the 3 spirit beasts was too slow, and they were hit head-on by the shockwave from the explosion of the gold core. They were pushed to the northeast by the shockwave, right at the center of the blizzard-chilling heavenly talisman. Their fates were obvious. They were directly turned into ice sculptures. The 5 flying warships had been cruising around the edge of the battlefield. Although they couldn't use escape techniques, their speed was still not slow. Only 2 ships were seriously damaged by the explosion of their golden cores. They were unable to avoid the blizzard-chilling heavenly talisman and turned into ice sculptures. The other 3 ships were closer to the edge. They had not stayed in the snowstorm for long, and they were protected by formations, so they were not badly damaged. 2 spirit beasts were fast enough and had innate dermic arts that increased their speed. They managed to avoid the explosion of their golden cores and the snowstorm without suffering any injuries. Although Luo Jiuyo and the 1,000 Spirit Sect cultivator followed behind the spirit beasts, they were not fast enough. Luo Jiuyo was better off as his escape technique was better. As the master of a sect, he had many protective treasures. Even though he sacrificed 2 treasures and was severely injured, he still had the strength to fight. The 1,000 Spirit Sect cultivator was slightly slower and was affected by the aftershocks. He used a protective treasure and was severely injured. He was already old and now he was severely injured. Although he managed to escape, there was basically no hope for him to recover. Everyone else was affected by the blizzard-chilling heavenly talisman. Perfected being Gold Sun was the only one who took the brunt of the attack. However, he did not die. 3 of his protective treasures were destroyed. Coupled with the remnant sun sword and the protection of the golden flames, he managed to preserve his life. More than 80% of his essence blood was consumed, and the true essence in his golden core was extracted, causing his cultivation realm to drop. Initially, his cultivation was close to peak golden core, but now, he was only at mid-stage golden core. The remnant sun sword was also severely damaged by the snowstorm-chilling heavenly talisman. Perfected Jin Yang and the remnant sun sword would not be able to recover without 10 to 20 years of effort. Lord Linhai and the other Zhao family clansmen, who were running at the front, were only slightly injured by the explosion of their golden cores. At this moment, the Zhao family only had 5 people and a flying warship left. However, only the 6th prince's combat strength was intact. He was not injured at all, and did not consume much spirit energy. He also had the mountain river seal in his hands. Zhao Jinghua had used up a lot of his spirit energy and spirit consciousness to fight perfected Jin Yang head-on. He also suffered many internal injuries. Zhao Lingjiang was the main force in killing the underworld sect cultivator. Later on, he fought against 2,000 spirit sect cultivators and a golden condor. Although he was not injured, he did not have much spirit energy and spirit consciousness left. Lord Linhai and the other clansmen not only consumed a lot of spirit energy, they also suffered many injuries. On the side of the 3 sects, the underworld sect only had a half-injured Luo Jiuyo. The remnant Sun Palace had a late-stage golden core cultivator and a half-dead perfected Jin Yang. The myriad spirit sect had the most combat strength left. The underworld water black tortoise was almost intact. Perfected Xianming was slightly injured and consumed a lot of spirit energy to deal with Zhao Jinghua. The man and the condor, who were dealing with Zhao Lingjiang, still had the strength to fight. The other 2 spirit beasts still had combat strength. The late-stage golden core cultivator was seriously injured and dying. In addition, there were 3 flying warships that were almost intact. The effect of this blizzard chill heavenly talisman was not ideal. The 3 sects were still stronger than the Zhao family. The 3 sects could only rely on the underworld water black tortoise to stall the 6th prince. The underworld water black tortoise was good at defense, but not offensive enough to cause harm to the 6th prince. Zhao Jinghua could completely suppress the underworld water black tortoise, but he could not kill him in a short time. Lord Linhai and the late-stage golden core cultivator were injured, facing 2 spirit beasts and 2 warships, as well as the half-injured Luo Juyo. They could not hold on for long. After Gu Qingfeng escaped, the late-stage golden core cultivator of the remnant Sun Palace had no opponent. He was now saving perfected Jin Yang. When he was free, the Zhao family would be even more passive. If the 6th prince could temporarily stall the underworld water black tortoise with the flying warship, he would still have a chance to kill the late-stage golden core cultivator of the remnant Sun Palace. The risk was not small. If someone self-detonated their golden core, he would be seriously injured, or even lose his life. If he had the courage to risk his life, the 3 sects would have been defeated 500 years ago. Why wait until today? Now that he did not have the means to win, he thought of his unique skill again. After transmitting his voice to the other 4 members of the Zhao family, he took the flying warship and fled to the east. However, he was very decisive in his escape. He cut off the huge cabin of the flying warship with a sword. This way, the warship would be more agile and faster. The remaining 4 members of the Zhao family really wanted to curse him. Zhao Lingjiang and Zhao Jinghua were stronger than their opponents. After repelling their opponents, they immediately turned into blue true dragons and flew to the east. Lord Linhai and the other Zhao family cultivator were in an awkward situation. Although they were far away from the 3 sects and were not attacked, they were alone and without help. Moreover, they were in the southwest of the 3 River Market. It was a bit difficult to run to the east. However, after receiving the 6th prince's transmission, they turned into blue true dragons and flew to the east with all their strength. The cultivators of the 3 sects came to their senses and were not in a hurry to chase after the 6th prince. That guy did not lose much spiritual power and was not injured at all. He also had the mountain river seal. Even the underworld water black tortoise could not withstand his full strength attack without the confluence of the 3 rivers. However, the remaining 2 golden core cultivators of the Zhao family could not be let go. Chapter 607. The refined corpse of the Netherworld sect that had gone out of control due to the death of its master was also turned into an ice sculpture by the blizzard chill heavenly talisman. Luo Juyo was the only cultivator left in the battle, and he did not dare to attack the remaining 2. The Zhao family was unfortunate to have produced a trash like the 6th prince. However, the other members of the Zhao family were famous for being rash. Once they were in a desperate situation, they would self-destruct their golden cores without hesitation. The cultivation techniques that the 2 of them cultivated had the power of thunder. Once they self-destructed, those who cultivated evil cultivation techniques would not be able to withstand it at all. This time, the Netherworld sect was almost wiped out. If he died in battle, it would be difficult for the Netherworld sect to survive, even if the remaining members of the Zhao family were completely destroyed. Over at the cruel Sun Palace, perfected Jinyang was half dead, and the remaining golden core cultivator naturally had to protect him. Perfected Xianming knew what was going on and shouted, "Cultivators of the Myriad Spirit sect, kill these 2 golden core cultivators of the Zhao family with all your might." Old Fogey Luo, I'll leave the low-level cultivators around the 3 River Market to you. Daoyu, who has never appeared in the cruel Sun Palace, send Jinyang Daoyu back to the cruel Sun Palace to recuperate. We can't be careless at the Cold River Pass either. If the Wei country breaks through the Cold River Pass, our 3 sects will be completely finished. With that, he landed on the ground and healed the late-stage golden core cultivator, who was severely injured by the blizzard chill heavenly talisman. The others naturally had no objections. The late-stage golden core cultivator of the cruel Sun Palace brought perfected Jinyang and the 2 disciples who had died in battle back to the cruel Sun Palace. Luo Juyo shouted, "If the affiliated families of the 3 sects turn over a new leaf, you can protect your family and atone for your crimes. Those who resist will be killed without mercy." The 6th prince fled. Not only did he leave behind the golden core cultivators, but he also left behind a large number of low-level cultivators. These people were nurtured by the Zhao family for many years, itinerant cultivators recruited from the Linhai Prefecture, and cultivators from the various families of the Linhai Prefecture. Of course, most of them were itinerant cultivators and family cultivators who had gone to the west of the sky/mountain range. With golden core cultivators fighting nearby, these low-level cultivators were inevitably affected, and the casualties were not small. When Gu Qingfeng and the rest fled, many cultivators of the Linhai Prefecture had also fled. Hence, their losses were not great. When the 6th prince fled, these low-level cultivators also scattered in all directions. The cultivators nurtured by the Zhao family, on the other hand, fought to the death without retreating. Almost all of them were killed or injured. Many of them were cultivators from the main branch of the Zhao family. Now that they had heard Luo Juyo's words, the cultivators of the clans who had been forcibly conscripted no longer ran away. The rogue cultivators did not care about this. They were all single and had no family or job. What crime? If he ran away, he wouldn't be guilty of anything. The Linhai state cultivators who were still resisting were quickly dealt with. The myriad spirit sect's 3 spirit beasts, a golden core cultivator and 3 flying warships began to encircle Lord Waterfront and Lord Waterfront. At this moment, the 2 of them were in the form of blue true dragons south of the Wanchuan River, flying east with all their might. Their speed was extremely fast, but compared to the spirit beasts, they were still a little lacking. Moreover, the escape technique could not be used for a long period of time. A rank 4 spirit bird could fly for a few months, so they wouldn't be able to escape if they continued. The mid-grade Tier 4 flying warship was unable to keep up with the speed, so it could only follow from a distance. The late-stage golden core cultivator of the myriad spirits sect rode his golden eagle and flew along the Wanchuan River, wanting to go around to the front to intercept the 2. Looking at the approaching pursuers, Lord Waterfront laughed bitterly. "Brother Linghan, I'm afraid the 2 of us will have to meet the ancestor. Uncle and Brother Linghan might as well escape. With Uncle here, our Zhao clan's inheritance will remain." Zhao Linghan said solemnly, "I'm already over 900 years old, and the grave is already up to my neck. The men of the Zhao clan take pride in dying in battle, so I should also meet the ancestor. But Linghan, you definitely cannot die. You are the link between the Zhao clan and the clans of Linhai State. If you die, the clans of Linhai State will no longer be used by our Zhao clan. I'll block the pursuers for you, and you take the opportunity to escape into the Wanchuan River. These 3 spirit beasts are not of the water attribute, so after you enter the water, they won't be able to catch you." Then, he handed a jade pendant to Lord Waterfront and continued, "This is my last life-saving means. You must return alive. I was really blind back then to actually support that evil beast Zhao Lingtian. Our Zhao clan's foundation has all been ruined by him. After you return, you must ask Uncle to depose that evil beast Zhao Lingtian." Back then, the eldest prince also had a backup plan, but unfortunately, he died in battle before he could use it. His backup plan was handed over to the 9th prince through his subordinates. The 9th prince is resolute and brave. You, Uncle, and Linghan assisted him together to tie the last of our Zhao clan's foundation into a rope. The 2 brothers haven't gone far yet, so I'll accompany them. After you succeed in reviving the country, don't forget to tell me." Then he turned around and flew towards the 3 spirit beasts of the 1,000 spirit sect. Lord Waterfront flew towards the Wanchuan River with tears in his eyes. Before he entered the water, he heard an earth-shaking explosion and a spirit beast scream. Gu Qingfeng and the other golden core cultivators received news from their clansmen that the 3 sects didn't attack. So they didn't rush back to Linhai State. They temporarily guarded the Wanchuan market and sent people to gather the fleeing clansmen. Soon, the sixth prince's carriage fled back to the Wanchuan market. After half an hour, Zhao Jinghua and Zhao Lingjiang finally returned. The sixth prince didn't even want to wait for his clansmen. He made them run back on their own with injuries, and exhausted their spiritual power. 2 hours later, Lord Waterfront emerged from the Wanchuan River and entered the Wanchuan market. At this moment, his clothes were tattered and his body was covered in wounds. They arrived at the meeting hall of the Wanchuan market's guardian residence. Lord Waterfront comforted Gu Qingfeng and the other cultivators before letting them leave. Only the 4 members of the Zhao clan were left in the meeting hall. Lord Waterfront took out his natal magic weapon and pointed at the sixth prince. Zhao Lingtian, are you a member of the Zhao clan or not? Do you have any backbone? If it was in the past, Zhao Jinghua would definitely reprimand him. But now, Zhao Jinghua didn't say a word, and Zhao Lingjiang also pretended not to hear. Seeing Zhao Jinghua's silence, the sixth prince angrily rebuked. Zhao Linghai, how dare you speak to me like that? Bah! What kind of bullshit emperor are you? Without my support, you'd still be that long-legged prince. I'm the imperial emperor's hereditary Lord Waterfront. You're just a prince. What right do you have to shout at me? Today, because of your escape, my Zhao clan of Waterfront lost over 1,000 disciples. Among them, over 20 are my children and grandchildren, and over 100 are my nephews and grandnephews. When Brother Ling Han and I escaped, those juniors still fought to the death. They fought to the death, and couldn't bring them back. I'm sorry for them, but my Waterfront clan is worthy of our ancestors. What about you, Zhao Lingtian? Have you shed a drop of blood for the Zhao clan? Have you lost a descendant? When the eldest prince was attacked, you just sat there and watched. Attacked by the 3 sects, you had a few experts of your clan, but you only knew how to run. Today, 3 brothers died in battle, but you didn't want to take any risks. If you had a bit of courage and dared to take the attack of the Netherwater Black Turtle, you would have killed the Netherwater Black Turtle. Even in the end, if you had a bit of courage, you could have killed the 2 late-stage Golden Core cultivators of the Cruel Sun Palace. But you only knew how to run. I must have been blind to support you. Little uncle, that year, Great Uncle asked you to assist the future emperor in reviving the country. But he didn't say you had to assist the long-legged prince. The 9th prince is much stronger than him. The 6th prince was flustered and exasperated. He took out the Mountain River seal and was about to attack. At this moment, Zhao Jinghua and Zhao Lingjiang also took out their swords and pointed them at him. Zhao Jinghua angrily rebuked. According to the Zhao clan's rules, no matter what status one has, fleeing in the face of battle is punishable by death. As the imperial official, I'm in charge of the imperial family's affairs. Now, I have the right to kill you according to the clan's rules. Now is the time to use people, so I'll spare your life. But you actually attacked a meritorious official. You deserve to die. Besides being the son of the Lai Emperor, you're useless. The Lai Emperor has more than one son. The 9th prince is still alive, and so is the eldest grandson of the eldest prince. If you continue to be the emperor, our Zhao clan will die. If someone else becomes the emperor, there's still hope of reviving the country. For the sake of reviving the country, you should abdicate. Chapter 608. The 6th prince couldn't believe his ears. Back then, these cultivators had supported him with all their might. Even when he fled to Linhai, no one dared to disrespect him. But now, not only did no one speak up for him, they even wanted to force him to abdicate. He held the seal of mountains and rivers and roared, "I'm the emperor of Zhao. How dare you offend me?" Lord Linhai said disdainfully, "The emperor sees his subjects as his brothers, and the subjects see the emperor as their confidants. The emperor sees his subjects as weeds, and the subjects see the emperor as enemies. In order to escape, you treated us like weeds and abandoned us. Naturally, we see you as an enemy. Now that you've been betrayed, you can just abdicate and fight for the new emperor. You can even become a king." The 6th prince sneered, "You're all injured. You're no match for me." Zhao Lingjiang narrowed his eyes and looked at the 6th prince. "I'm not young anymore and I've lived long enough. Uncle is responsible for the Zhao clan's inheritance, and Lord Linhai is the link between all the clans in Linhai. I'm the only one who's useless. Why don't I detonate my Jindan and destroy you? A coward who is afraid of death and fights with your own family. Hearing this, the sixth prince was a bit scared. Zhao Jingwa said disdainfully, "You still haven't learned the skills left by the ancestors. Believe it or not, I can kill you with one strike right now." The sixth prince was even more scared. Zhao Jingwa was the #1 genius of the Zhao clan in 1,000 years. He established his Violet Palace in his 70s, and became one with the sword before he was 100 years old. Previously, he was able to fight head-on with Taoist Jin Yang, and gradually gain the upper hand. Even with the seal of mountains and rivers, he wasn't sure he could defeat Zhao Jingwa. Moreover, from what he said, he still had some tricks up his sleeve. After thinking for a long time, he sighed and said, "I'm willing to abdicate, but you have to promise me a king title." Zhao Jingwa replied, "How can we have the right to be a king? It's up to the new emperor to decide what title to give you. Now that the Zhao clan is poor and Zhao Liang isn't strong, he also has no prestige, so the 9th prince should be the new emperor. The 9th prince is benevolent and won't kill his brothers. At the very least, he'll give you the title of duke or marquis. Whether you can be a king or not, it depends on how much you can contribute in the future." He was a coward to begin with, and the courage to fight with his life on the line when he was in a fit of rage had disappeared. As long as he was not killed, he would not dare to risk his life even if he became a commoner. Now that he had the title of duke, which was not much different from the title of prince, it was already quite good. He removed the ownership of the seal of mountains and rivers, and handed it to Zhao Jingwa. "I am willing to abdicate the throne to 9th brother." Zhao Jingwa took the seal of mountains and rivers and said, "Ling Hai, you still have some clansmen. Go to the Green Willow province, and ask the 9th prince to come and inherit the throne. Also, send someone to pay a visit to the Wang clan to improve their relationship with them." The reason why the Wang family was willing to take Zhao Liang in was because of the Zhao family. "We've offended all the families in the state of Zhao. Without their support, we don't have much of a chance of winning." The Wang family still had some prestige among these old families. Putting the Wang family in an important position could also set an example for the other old families. Even if he couldn't get them to join him, he could at least get some families to remain neutral. There was also Ling Yan, from the Beiyuan sword sect. He had been injured at the 9 underworld mysterious crystal mine. Even though he had not recovered yet, he still had some combat strength left. He has many subordinates, and is an important force. Send someone to contact him. Lord Linhai clasped his hands in acknowledgement, and left to give orders. Wang Daoyuan did not work hard on cultivating the Cloud and Rain Heart Sutra in the past few days, in his abode under Jade Spring Peak. Instead, he modified his movement technique near the Fire Eye. It was hard to say how the war between the Zhao family and the 3 sects would develop. He would not be able to avoid fighting Golden Core cultivators. The only profound movement techniques he knew were the Cloud Mist Escape and Scarlet Luan Fire Escape. The Scarlet Luan Fire Escape was incompatible with his Violet Palace phenomenon, so he modified it to become the Vermilion Bird Fire Escape. The Vermilion Bird and the Scarlet Luan were both phoenixes. They shared many similarities, so it was not difficult to modify them. The modified Vermilion Bird Fire Escape combined with his Violet Palace phenomenon, making him much faster. Fire elemental movement techniques had always been known for their speed. Coupled with the fact that the Scarlet Luan Fire Escape was a legacy of the Zhou family, it was obviously extremely profound. Right now, the Vermilion Bird Fire Escape's speed could be considered above average among level 4 movement techniques. After all, he had modified it in a hurry. There were still many areas where it was lacking. It was still a distance away from the best movement techniques. In addition, he also cultivated the Gu family's Flood Dragon Escape. Fighting in the state of Zhao was inseparable from water. His Cloud Mist Escape could not compare to the Flood Dragon Escape in water. He did not modify the Flood Dragon Escape. After all, he did not have the Water Dragon phenomenon. The Azure Dragon was of the Wood attribute. Although it had no problems in water because it was a dragon, It was not good at controlling water. The black tortoise was not known for its speed. No matter how he modified the flood dragon escape, it would not be of much use to him. Zhou walked over from the backyard. Administrator, you've come to work again. The Zhao family and the three sects had a decisive battle in the Three River Market. The Zhao family was defeated, and the three sects also suffered heavy losses. Only 4 golden core cultivators of the Zhao family escaped back to the Wanchuan market. After that, there seemed to be internal strife, and the long-legged prince was forced to abdicate. Zhao Jinghua and the others are preparing to welcome the 9th prince to the throne. They will probably send someone to contact you. Wang Daoyuan smiled. How can it be so easy for me to make a move? Right now, it's still hard to say whether the two sides are strong or weak. Let's play dumb and see whether the two sides are strong or weak. Moreover, our Wang family is not involved now. Both sides want to rope us in. Right now we're waiting for the best price. How can we easily declare our position? Right, what's Zhao Jinggua's background? Does he have any minor divine abilities? According to the previous intelligence, this person is extremely strong. I'm afraid he's not much weaker than Master, before he broke through to the half-step Yuanying. Zhou shook her head. He stays in Linhai all year round. Blood Shadow doesn't have many records of him making a move. We only know that when the Zhao family was destroyed, he was already one with the sword before he was even 100 years old. He was a sword cultivator genius second only to the swordless Taoist. As for whether he has any minor divine abilities, there's no way to know. Soon, the 12th uncle sent a letter saying that the Zhao family had come to visit. The visitor was a late-stage Zifu cultivator, who claimed to be the nephew of the Linhai king. He wanted to see Wang Daoyuan. Naturally, he would not receive a late-stage Zifu cultivator. He just had the 12th uncle chat with him and send him off. Before Zhuge Liang came out of the mountains, Liu Bei had to visit him 3 times. How could it be so easy to get him to surrender with the administrator's estate? If he didn't put on airs, it would be difficult to ask for a price. In less than 2 days, the underworld sect's vice lord, Gu Wangzong, personally came to visit Yuchuan Peak. Wang Daoyuan had long expected that the underworld sect would come. After the battle of the Three River Market, the underworld sect's assets were almost exhausted. At this time, they naturally wanted to rope in their nominal subordinate force. In order to let the Zhao family know that the underworld sect came to rope him in, Wang Daoyuan personally rode a cloud outside the mountain to welcome Gu Wangzong. He invited him to his own hall and asked, Gu Daoyu, if there's anything, just send a message. The battle outside is not over yet. Why do you take the risk? Gu Wangzong cupped his hands and said, After the battle of the Three River Market, our underworld sect suffered heavy losses. I'm afraid that in the future, we will become the weakest sect. Grand Elder, please disregard the past and return to the underworld sect to strengthen the sect. Wang Daoyuan said with a smile, Yan'an County has never left the underworld sect. Daoyu, don't worry. The stability of Zhao is what I want to see. If the underworld sect declines, my Yan'an County is no match for the cruel Sun Palace. Gu Wangzong didn't talk about anything serious. He had been talking about the hundreds of years of friendship between the Wang family and the underworld sect. It seemed that the situation of the underworld sect was really bad. Luo Juyo, that insidious villain, panicked and sent Gu Wangzong to rope in their relationship. One would not hit a smiling person. Wang Daoyuan naturally laughed along with him. Anyway, the longer they talked, the more anxious the Zhao family would be. They would have to offer a higher price to rope him in. After all, the position of Yan'an County was too important. If the Wang family continued to follow the underworld sect, the Zhao family's forces in Shanbei, Lavlayu, and Wanchuan Market would be divided into 3 parts. After talking for 4 or 5 hours, Gu Wangzong planned to leave. Wang Daoyuan rode a cloud and sent him 100 miles west of Yuchuan Peak. Chapter 609. The Wang family could negotiate with the Zhao family and the underworld sect slowly, but they couldn't make a decision. Choosing who to cooperate with depended not only on which side offered the highest price, but also on the situation at Wuqing Pass. After the Three River Market Square battle, the three sects' assets were almost all revealed. The people left in the hinterland of Zhao State were not difficult to deal with, but there were still 15 golden core cultivators at Wuqing Pass. Among them, there were 5 from the Netherworld sect. 4 of them were at the late stage of the golden core realm, and 1 was at the middle stage. There were 7 people from the Thousand Spirits sect. 5 of them were in the late stage of the golden elixir realm, and 2 were in the middle stage. There were 3 people from the remnant Sun Palace, 2 in the late golden core realm, and 1 in the middle golden core realm. Most of the cultivators of the Underworld sect and Myriad Spirit sect had grade 4 refined corpses and spirit beasts. Of course, their fighting ability was slightly weaker. The strength of an ordinary 4th level upper grade spirit beast was not comparable to that of a late stage golden core human cultivator. Previously, the late golden core cultivator of the Myriad Spirit sect and his spirit beast were only able to fight to a draw with a single Zhao family member. The late golden core cultivators of the Myriad Spirit sect and their spirit beasts were only on par with cultivators of the same level as them, roughly at the level of Lord Waterfront. Although he couldn't compare to 2 cultivators of the same level, he was still stronger than Gu Chengfeng, who was a cultivator of the same level. Wang Daoyuan estimated that his strength was about the same as Zhao Lingjiang's if he used a lesser divine ability and did not expose his spiritual fire. He was better than Lord Linhai, but not as good as Long-Legged Prince, and not as good as Zhao Jinghua. Together with the Red Wing Crow, they had the combat power of 2 Lord Linhai. The golden core cultivators of the Cruel Sun Palace were not weak in battle. The late-stage golden core cultivators of the Thousand Spirits sect and the Cruel Sun Palace at Wuqing Pass were as strong as Lord Linhai. 2 golden core middle-stage cultivators from the Myriad Spirit sect and a spirit beast. Their strength was about the same as the red-feathered crow. The mid-stage golden core cultivators of the Cruel Sun Palace were slightly weaker. They were at Gu Chengqing's level. The 3 of them together could barely be counted as 2 Lord Linhai's combat strength. As for the Underworld sect, except for Zhong Zhenyang, the others could not display the strength of a late-stage golden core cultivator in front of the Zhao family. Zhong Zhenyang had a minor divine ability, so it was hard to say whether he was strong or weak. Different minor divine abilities would increase one's strength differently. The 5 people from the Underworld sect added together could be counted as 3 times the combat power of Lord Linhai. He also had to consider Taoist Master Xianming and Taoist Master Yulong. The spiritual beasts they raised had high bloodlines, so their strength naturally surpassed ordinary spiritual beasts. The 2 of them, together with their spirit beasts, were definitely stronger than the current Wang Daoyuan. Even if they were not as strong as Zhao Jinghua, they should not be weaker than the 6th prince. The Tier 4 flying warship, on the other hand, was gone. These things were all bought from the Divine Weapon Pavilion and could not be hidden from others. The 6 flying warships that had appeared earlier were all the Tier 4 flying warships of the 3 sects. Now only 3 remained. If the cultivators of the 3 sects at Wuqing Pass could come back unscathed, together with the cultivators left behind to guard the place, there would be 17 to 18 times the fighting strength of Lord Linhai. If the 3 sects hadn't emptied their coffers, then it would be even more than that. Even if the Zhao family had a lot of backup plans, it was unlikely that they could gather so many late-stage golden core cultivators. Under such circumstances, the Wang family naturally could not side with the Zhao family. However, it was impossible for Song Yin to let the cultivators of the 3 sects leave safely. There would definitely be casualties. The Wang family's stance depended on how many cultivators of the 3 sects could come back. After seeing off Gu Wangzong, Wang Daoyuan returned to the underground cave residence and asked Zhou Luan, "What's the situation at Wuqing Pass?" Zhou Luan replied, "The 2 sides are still fighting a tug of war behind Wuqing Pass. No golden core cultivators have appeared. However, since the Zhao family began to move against the 3 River Market half a month ago, there seems to be some movement in the Song Kingdom as well. Some important industries have been heavily guarded. The Blood Shadow branch in the Song Kingdom speculated that Song Yin might have mobilized the golden core cultivators hidden in the Song Kingdom." Wang Daoyuan nodded. Then let's play dumb for a while longer. We'll talk about it after the Wuqing Pass. At this time, an early-stage golden core cultivator and a late-stage Zifu cultivator left for Wanchuan Market in Green Willow Province. Half a day later, the early-stage golden core cultivator returned to Green Willow Province. Early the next morning, 3 cultivators wearing spirit restriction silk cloaks left Green Willow Province on their swords and headed for Wanchuan Market. Lord Linhai led the 3 to the 6th prince's palace. At this time, the 6th prince was wearing a blue dragon robe and a crown of 12 heads. He was sitting high above. Zhao Jinghua held the mountain river seal in his hand, while Zhao Lingjiang held a silk book in his hand. They stood on either side of the throne. The cultivators of Linhai Province sat on either side of the throne. The 3 cloak cultivators took off their cloaks and bowed to the 6th prince. "Greetings, Your Majesty. We are Zhao Lingxiao, Shi Zhizhong, and Wu Mingjue." The 9th prince's appearance was quite similar to the 6th prince's. He had long eyebrows, bright eyes, a sharp nose, and a big mouth. However, there was less viciousness in his eyes and more resoluteness. The 6th prince's voice trembled. "Ninth brother Heong Commandery Duke, Linchuan Marquis, please rise." Then, Zhao Lingjiang opened the silk book in his hand and began to read. This silk book was the 6th prince's abdication edict. The edict was written in the 6th prince's tone. At the end, it was self-criticism. He said that he couldn't inherit the ancestral temple and would abdicate the throne to his 9th brother, Zhao Lingxiao. He hoped that he could restore the foundation of his ancestors and revitalize the state of Zhao. The 9th prince bowed and refused to accept the edict. Lord Linhai, Shi Zhizhong, and Wu Mingjue bowed to the 9th prince and asked him to accept the edict. Zhao Lingjiang and the cultivators of Linhai Province bowed and asked the 9th prince to leave. The 6th prince walked down from the throne and put the crown on the 9th prince's head. He took off his dragon robe and put it on the 9th prince. He bowed and said, "I'm incompetent and can't restore the state of Zhao. Brother, please take the foundation of your ancestors as the most important thing and inherit the throne." After the 9th prince put on his dragon robe and crown, he helped the 6th prince up. The 3 sects rebelled, and the foundation of the Zhao clan was destroyed. I have no choice but to shoulder this heavy burden. In the future, when the state is restored, I'll return it to you. Zhao Jinghua handed the seal of mountains and rivers to the 9th prince. He bowed and received it with both hands. Then, he walked to the throne with the seal of mountains and rivers and accepted the worship of the officials. The abdication of an emperor required many days of politeness and persuasion. They were just making do with what they had and went through the process with little effort. Afterward, Lord Linhai reported to Zhao Lingxiao about the current strength of the Zhao clan. Including Zhao Lingyan, there were only 5 late-stage golden core cultivators of the Zhao clan. There were 3 late-stage golden core cultivators and 3 mid-stage golden core cultivators in Linhai Province. Shi Zhizhong also reported the strength of Zhao Lingxiao's forces. There were 3 late-stage golden core cultivators and 2 mid-stage golden core cultivators. Zhao Lingyan and the 3 late-stage golden core cultivators of Linhai Province were inferior to Lord Linhai. At most, they were 12 or 13 times stronger than Lord Linhai. Among them, the 6th prince was an unstable factor. Overall, there was still a big gap between them and the 3 sections. Lord Linhai asked, "Your Majesty, may I ask what our next step is? Are we going to attack the 3-river market again? Knowing this, I can make preparations in advance." Zhao Lingxiao shook his head. "We can't act rashly. Once we take the 3-river market, Song State will capture Wuqing Pass. At that time, it will be completely impossible for us to unify Zhao State. We'd better attack the other industries of the 3 sects first and consume their strength. I've been training cultivators in Linhai Province for more than 100 years and recruited many people. I've been training soldiers for more than 100 years. It's time for them to take action. In addition, we have to rope in the Wang clan. I've sent people to contact Wang Daoyuan before. He's also interested in helping the Zhao clan. They've done business for more than 100 years. However, when he received Gu Wangzong of the underworld sect with great fanfare, he probably hasn't made up his mind yet. What he's waiting for is not only our offer, but also the outcome of the battle at Wuqing Pass. I'll send people to keep in touch with the Wang clan and find out his background. Lord Linhai, gather as many resources as possible from Linhai province. As for the others, recuperate from your injuries. If you can improve your strength in a short time, do so as soon as possible to prepare for the decisive battle in the future. Everyone cupped their hands in acknowledgement and went to make preparations. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.